Festive morning for everybody out there, full of great prizes. So we have 3 separate prizes today. Pair of tickets to see Chris Stapleton this week, and pair of tickets to the Aztecs taking a court. 2 pairs. Holy smokes.
2 pairs?
So that's 3 pairs of tickets.
Those pairs?
Dose pairs. Actually, trace, technically. And also, we've got a $50 gift card to Draft Republic. So if you're interested in winning a prize here in San Diego, you're listening to the correct morning show. We're going to be giving away prizes every hour because we have to. There's literally no choice. We're going to have to do that. And this time we promise. Okay, so get that out of the way. Also, good morning to everybody out there. I'll tell you what, for whatever reason, this week, I know it's only Tuesday, but it feels like I'm catching up to the week. It feels like the week's motoring ahead, and I'm just like, wait, well, what? I didn't even settle into the week yet, and we're already at Tuesday. Does everybody else feel that way?
Yeah, it does kind of feel that way.
Okay,
which is that's not a bad thing.
No, it's kind of good when you hit the ground running. Maybe you're playing a little catch up. You're chasing the bumper like a dog, chasing the mail truck.
Because you don't want the opposite, where you wake up on Wednesday and you're like, oh God, Friday. No, oh wait, no, I got 2 more days.
Yeah. No, that's the worst feeling when you're jumping ahead and you're like, wait, but no, it was right there. The weekend. We talked about this yesterday when I fell asleep on Thursday. You mean it was actually Tuesday? I always get the T days confused. Here's the deal, though. It's the same exact feeling that the Padres are going through. They've woken up. And it's like almost time to board the flight to Seoul, South Korea.
That is true.
It's happening, guys. Like, we're running out of runway. They better be ready pretty soon.
The problem is you're running out of runway. You want to make sure you got enough speed to take off when you get to that into that runway.
Don't you also feel like they're kind of waking up sore? They're kind of waking up that it would still like that nagging hip pain that you have for some reason that you don't know when you got it. TD, I know you know about that.
Yeah, I do know about it. I feel like the Padres got it about 6 months ago. So if it's still lingering, that's not good news.
Yeah. It's one of those things where if you blink, you're gonna miss spring training. If you close your eyes and try to take a nap, it's gonna be the middle of the first month of this baseball season. If you actually go to sleep and try to catch a wink, you're going to wake up and it's going to be almost all-star break. I mean, this season is coming quick. And the Padres so far have not look, it's spring training, and I know we got to pump our brakes, and I know spring training doesn't matter, and I know. But so far, it hasn't looked all that great yet.
Right. Well, let me try to turn my mic on. I said, right, but you're still using pieces that you don't know if you're going to be there. You're just trying some things out. You're trying to see if some things work. The problem is as you get closer to the end of the runway, you got to have them all there.
Yeah.
You got to have them all there, and you got to start to make them work together. So if they're not all there and they're not working together, that means you're going to be doing it during the regular season.
Right. So to Fletch's point during the first update of the day, Joe Musgrove has another tough outing. Not worried about it. Joe Musgrove is healthy. Mm-hmm. I mean, we saw Machado over the weekend. He had a 2-hit game. Not worried about it. Or, he made contact twice. One was a ground rule double. The other one was ground out. And that's all I need to see. I just need to know that he's healthy. Today, we get to see Yu Darvish on the mound. Good. As long as he finishes this game and he doesn't have elbow fatigue or shoulder tiredness or back spasms like Yuki Matsui, good. That's all we need is health out of the guys that you know and you can trust. I mean, we've already seen a homer from Jake Cronenworth. That's about all I need to see from him. It doesn't matter. That stuff, that's all the stuff. We know those ingredients. That's the flour and the eggs to bake this cake. We need the seasoning. We need a little sugar. We need to figure out if we're making a carrot cake or if we're making if we're making something we don't know the other ingredients yet.
Well, especially the candle on top of the cake, which I believe is Fernando Tatis Jr., who is going to be relied on to have a monster season.
We know it.
But we don't. We
know Fernando Tatis Jr. is a good baseball player.
Yeah, but he's been inconsistent throughout his entire career, whether he's on the field or off.
I'm saying he's a known quantity. he's a known quantity.
You already know you're using that ingredient.
Yeah,
Correct.
Yeah.
So you're talking about the Jackson Merrills of the world.
Yeah.
Precisely.
You're talking about 17-year-old Ethan Solis, who
Here's the
actually
thing.
got a hit yesterday. Is he going to end up on this team this year? Because that's frightening.
So-
Exactly.
It's a little bit concerning, though, when you don't know what you're making, when you don't know what the end goal is. So if you don't know, hey, I'm setting forward here to make a carrot cake. You want to get all the ingredients to make a carrot cake.
Well, and then all of a sudden
it's like COVID, and we're going through the stores and we're like, I don't know, let's just see what they got, and then we'll figure out what we can make.
They had toilet paper, so I bought that because they were out for 2 weeks.
Right.
But you're making carrot cake, yeah, but we got plenty of toilet paper now.
That's right. And shortstops.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the thing. Like Xander Bogaerts, not worried about it. Like there's a lot of known quantities and that's the warm and fuzzies, right? You know, you think to yourself like, yeah, we're making carrot cake. We got the flour. Maybe we even got the sugar. We got the eggs. We're just missing carrots. We just need those carrots. Like that would be great to have some carrots.
Yeah. If anybody sees any carrots, like cheap carrots, we're interested.
Richie, I am curious. I was thinking about this last night. Did you have a year where you were going into your season not knowing who was going to be on the team or meaningful contributors to the team?
That's such a good question.
Like, I'm assuming it never happened in New England.
No, it didn't happen in New England. That was very set. It felt very regimented. It felt like we had a plan.
Padres of last season.
Yeah, exactly. Correct. Stars, and you felt like based on maybe the recent past winning success that you had, like you were going to roll into next season. It was going to look a lot like the last, and it did. You know, for the Patriots, it didn't look that way for the Padres. But I guess the 1 year in Arizona, I was brand new there, so I didn't know who all the pieces and the players were really as well as I did when I was in New England. But so, you parachute into a situation and you're looking around the room and you're used to seeing like Tom Brady at quarterback and Randy Moss at receiver and Wes Welker at receiver and Gronkowski at tight end. And you're looking around this room and you're saying, well, that's Kevin Cobb over there, quarterback, who's a fine player and he's an exceptional human being. And I love him. He's a very dear friend. But you're thinking to yourself like, okay, all right, well, okay, that's Kevin Cabo there. And then we have who's going to start for us at tight end? And what's going on at receiver? Do we have there's this feeling of like, how is this all going to mix together and make that cake we were talking about?
It's like Larry Fitzgerald and who?
Yeah. It was basically we had Larry and then we had Larry, so that was good.
Well, but sometimes it works. I mean, sometimes as long as you have all the ingredients, it does work. Like, I mean, the Texans, for instance. Yeah. The Texans didn't really have identity until halfway through the season.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there was a bunch of pieces there. You went, yeah, I don't know. We'll see if CJ Stroud's going to be great. We'll just see what happens. And then as they rolled along, you went, this tastes pretty good.
Yeah, you're like, all of a sudden, cardamom makes sense in that carrot cake.
Right.
I didn't expect Star Anise to steal the show.
Right.
But here we are, and the poppy seeds on top was a strange addition.
God, like Master Chef. We don't know. They're just running to the kitchen.
Honestly, that's the theme of this damn offseason. It's Chopped Padres edition. It's Alton Brown going, all right, chefs, here is your food basket. You only have 3 ingredients. It's pork jowls, chocolate, and a sea moss.
You have 1 minute in the kitchen.
So, but that's what
in the pantry.
That's what it feels like. It feels like the Padres are on an episode of Chopped. It feels like the Padres are running around with their hair on fire, collecting ingredients that they think could possibly make a decent meal to serve. And they have no idea what it's going to turn out to be. Now, they've done this before. They've been in the kitchen before. They've built teams before. But are they actually going to make something that's palatable? That's the biggest question. And then the judges are going to taste it, and they're going to lift eyebrows, and you're going to be like,
75 wins.
Yeah. Oh, God.
This is missing a Cy Young candidate.
Right. Well, see, and that's I think part of the hang up as fans as we're watching this is it already feels like they've gone to the pantry. It feels like they've collected all their ingredients and now they're back at their station and they've dumped them out all over the counter and you're looking at them going, I don't know if we can make this or not. So I don't know if they're going back to the pantry to get anything else. That's where the question lies.
Yeah, it's going to be a strange year. And we are, as I mentioned, we are running out of time because wheels up for South Korea real soon here. Okay.
You guys want to know what actually happened yesterday with
Yeah.
the Padres? Thank you to Kevin Acey for organizing all this, but Joe Musgrove did not get out of the first inning for the second time in 2 Cactus League starts, allowing 4 runs on 3 hits and a walk. Does that worry you guys?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Health is the only thing that matters. Yeah.
It worries me a little bit.
I mean, I get a little.
Maybe he's just working on pitches and he's not throwing his good stuff. Maybe he's like, I don't care if this gets hit or not. I'm working on location.
The only thing I'm worried about is if Joe Musgrove, the reason why he's struggling is health. If he's 100% healthy, I do not take into account anything that happens in the spring for these starting pitchers because, like you said, they could be working on things, they could be trying out new stuff, and then they go back to the old stuff before we hit the regular season.
It's much more rational than Jim Russell, who's
I'm
panicking.
sure that's what it is, but it does make me a little uneasy. I just I want to see something good, man.
No,
Okay,
get off the. You're on the damn.
Oh God, I said I wouldn't get
You're
on
on
it.
the roller coaster.
Dude,
You're gonna
I was
be
on
on it
the
all year.
roller coaster before this thing started.
So if you want to feel a little bit better, Michael King, who is going to be a starting pitcher for the Padres this year, he was acquired in that Juan Soto trade and basically handed a starting job. He allowed 1 hit in 2 innings in his spring debut.
It's cool, man. I do think for Michael King, it's a different situation than Joe Musgrove. Joe Musgrove is a known quantity here. Now, Michael King, he's going to be doing something that he's not used to doing coming up this season. He hasn't been a season-long starter anytime in his.
Don't say winning. Don't say winning.
Well, there's that too. But he hasn't been a season-long starter, and he's going to be dependent on to be that. So he's got to ramp up.
I also think Michael King is the key piece to whether or not you quote unquote win the Juan Soto trade.
Yeah.
Right. Every time you see him on the mound, you're going to be thinking about what you had in Juan Soto.
You need to look at Juan Soto as a rental if you can, an expensive rental that got you an NLCS bid. That's the way, because that's the only way to rationalize it now for me. And yeah, Michael King obviously is going to be one of those players that you add and quantify. Was it worth it? Wasn't it worth it? But I kind of feel like if that's all it is, if that's all you got out of it, like you got to sniff at the World Series with Juan Soto, I think I could sleep at night.
I don't know if I can. Ethan Salas, who's the young gun, he's a catcher. He's the top prospect in the organization. Got his first Cactus League hit of the spring with a double to opposite field in the 7th inning. And I think Ethan Salas is the one I'm looking at like, oh man, I can't wait to see him in a few years.
Yeah.
Like, let's pump the brakes on him. He's a teenager. I think like 3 years before he's at the big league level, but it doesn't seem like it's trending that way.
No, you're going to see him in a few weeks.
Yeah.
No,
maybe.
can't be. They got catchers.
Yeah. Well, maybe weeks though. It's is it going to be 8 weeks? You get a couple of injuries. I
think the prayer is that Ethan Salas does not sniff the big league roster this year. He continues to develop, and you get the best version of him in a couple of years.
My prayer is he becomes the greatest baseball player of all time and just steps in, and he's the Tiger Woods of baseball.
Can you imagine at 17 years old?
Yes.
And we're just so confused. You're like, why is he playing golf so much? It's like he's supposed to be catching for the Padres, but he just won the Masters.
And before we get to halftime, Yu Darvish scheduled to make his Cactus League debut today, 12:10 p.m. Pacific time against the Royals in Peoria. Anything special you want to see from Yu Darvish, or is it the same as Joe Musgrove? Yu Darvish ended last year more hurt, I would argue, than Joe Musgrove did.
Yeah, look again. The same way I reacted to Joe Musgrove is the same way I'll react to Yu Darvish and Fernando Tatis Jr. and Xander Bogaerts and Jake Cronenworth and Manny Machado. If they're healthy, if they look healthy during the spring and they don't have any setbacks from a health standpoint, that's all I care about. All I care about is Yu Darvish going out there and looking like he's pitching comfortably. And even if he gives up, same thing. So Joe Musgrove went on the mound against Dodgers in the first outing for the Padres this spring training, and he looked like he was a prospect coming up from the minor league system. It doesn't matter as long as he's healthy, because this is a 38-year-old pitcher. He's fine.
Yeah, I get it. I always wonder, though, and I don't know if you guys do this, like, how good was Yu Darv? Because, I mean, our current pitcher is pretty good, and he's just Yu Darvish.
So that one just caught up. Yeah.
Just saying.
It's just like
I'm not even gonna do it. I'm gonna let the texters do it.
It's 6:15.
It's Big Rich's halftime. There's a window here, text line. If you want to say it, first one in, we will honor it.
We are 15 minutes into the show. That's all I'm going to say.
I thought that was pretty solid. Someone out there likes it.
Hit it, Fletch. Just hit it. Yeah. You do it to us every day. I don't know why you do it.
Necessary.
All right, so check this out. LeBron James is not happy how the media is covering his son Bronny at USC. So after a slow start to the season for the Trojans, inconsistent play from Bronny, the star player's son, James went to Twitter. And he's said in a now deleted post, "Can y'all just let the kid be a kid and enjoy college basketball? The work and the results will ultimately do the talking no matter what he decides to do. If y'all don't know, he doesn't care what a mock draft says. He just works. Earned, not given."
Timeout.
What?
Paris said take a lap. Go.
Oh, come on,
there it is.
Paris.
There it is.
Paris?
Paris Ephesian off the text line, off the top rope. Yeah, well, I guess, you owe him a monster. Okay.
Oh, poor Brody. I feel so bad for him.
Yeah, dude. I mean, look, we'll talk about this story a little bit later on, but we'll talk about this story a little bit later on. Speaking of basketball, San Diego State hoops back on the court tonight. You can listen to all the action on your home of the Aztecs right here, San Diego Sports 760. The 20th ranked Aztecs take on the San Jose State Spartans at Viejas Arena. We have an 8 p.m. tip. Broadcast gets underway at 7:30. And on Monday, check this out. This story is developing. John Shire and Bill Self and other college basketball leaders called for a ban on court storming in college basketball due to safety concerns and potential legal impacts of athletes and students being put in that situation. So the conversation about court storming escalated over the weekend. You had Duke star Kyle Filipowski, who was bumped by a Wake Forest fan who was storming the court after Duke lost to, the Demon Deacons, 83-79 final. Really, really great finish. The unfortunate reality was Filipowski was banged into and had an apparent lower body injury, who he woke up from sore. And I guess he's been in practice, but not doing great or as well as he would have been doing if it weren't for the incident. And so on this telemedia call that the ACC had, there's coaches and leaders around the conference calling for this to be banned immediately. Like, we're not waiting for the offseason to ban this. Like, we need this done right now because this puts us in a really precarious situation for not just the players, but the fans also.
I'm curious your guys' thoughts on court storming as a whole, but I do want to get a little further into the Kyle Filipowski thing, because if you watch the video, and I put a link to it in the rundown, it does kind of seem like he initiated the contact with the fan. Like, it kind of seems like he was trying to trip the fan and threw a little push in there too. I know. I'm glad you mentioned that because I kind of see it the same way. But okay,
hang on. So do you ever hear of the term, I believe it's proposing an attractive nuisance? Okay. So say I don't have a gate on my front lawn, right?
Mm-hmm.
Say I leave a chainsaw out on my front lawn,
mm-hmm.
and say a kid from the neighborhood wanders from his front lawn to my front lawn and starts up the chainsaw and takes his leg off or injures himself.
it's your fault.
It's my fault because I'm introducing an attractive nuisance. I'm not protecting a child from injuring himself on my property with something that's above and beyond. Like, I left a chainsaw out on my walk path to the front door and it was there for hours. It's just too attractive for it not to cause trouble. Well, so that's kind of the deal here. You are providing the atmosphere where if a fan is rushing me and he's got a mad face or a happy face, but I can't determine that in the split second as he's running directly at me, maybe in order to protect myself, I initiate contact with him because I'm like, well, screw him. I'm not going to let him run into me. And whether I'm the one who gets hurt or the fan, the fact that this is even an atmosphere that can occur is ridiculous.
So are you out on court storming?
100% have always been. I think it's one of the dumbest things that we allow in this world. Let me backtrack. There's plenty dumber things.
In sports.
This is really, you are waiting for someone to get stabbed or waiting for somebody to get paralyzed or waiting for somebody to get trampled to death or waiting for something absolutely awful to happen before we stop this. It's on its way. It's coming, I promise.
I agree with you 100% on that. However, It looks cool.
It does look cool.
It
looks
looks
cool.
awesome,
It
and
looks
it's part
cool.
of the college basketball environment. And I don't, Richie, have you been involved in one of these as on the field?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's fun
It's not
when
fun.
you're on the winning side.
Honestly, it's not even fun when you're on the winning side.
Yeah, look, if it were me, I don't want to be on the court. I don't even want to be in the stands. I don't want to be a part of it. Just because I don't want to get hurt.
Dude, I hated it every time. Every single time. It's dude, for there I'm telling you, especially when you just finish an athletic endeavor and you've poured yourself out to finish a game, even in a win, and then all of a sudden you have drunk fans screaming in your face, whether they're on your side or not. You're like, get the F away from me. Like, this is not what this relationship is supposed to look like.
Okay.
It's just not.
Even if it's banned, how do you stop it?
Well, see, that's the thing. The way you stop it is by putting in punishment so severe that, all it'll take is a couple of arrests and some jail time or some hefty fines for, like, where instead of reporting on Filipowski being injured, the report is 3 fans were arrested in court storming incident. They will serve 3 to 5 years or potentially lose their ability to go to the, and potentially be banned from games for the rest of their time at the university.
Well, I think being expelled would be a good one. Like
But
anybody caught
it's
doing
not
this.
just students.
Right. It's not.
That's
and so,
what I'm saying. You need to have legal ramifications.
Now, Jonas Knox
Or-
did some digging on this and said there's already fines in place for schools. So it's like, I want to say he said it's $100,000. That doesn't, by the way, go to a charity or something. It goes to the opposing team. So like in this scenario, Wake Forest would have been fined like $100,000, and that money goes to the Duke athletic program.
You know what? With that, I still think that fans will do it.
Yeah.
I don't think
It's not their money.
No, yeah, well,
yeah.
exactly. They would have to be punished. I see a much easier fix to this, and honestly, it would be more fun. Steel cage basketball.
Yeah.
They're in a cage, chain link fence all the way around.
Yeah, actually, there you go. Yeah.
So another
there's the answer.
realistic proposition here.
Wait, let's go back to the steel cage.
Does beefing up security do anything, or
bears.
will fans just run right
No,
through it anyway?
it does not.
No.
I mean, unless it was a line of armed guards, that might deter someone.
It has to be a situation where something so severe will happen on the other side of an incident like this, legally. Like the school launches civil lawsuits, goes after people, or the laws involved. Like you say, like, look, this court shall not be trespassed on by anybody. And you have officers at every game, say 2. That's all it takes.
Yeah, right.
And if you do cross, you're done, son.
You're done, son.
And they wouldn't get everyone, but if they got a few, then you start putting in the thought process of it could be me,
Right.
And I don't want a $250,000 fine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, imagine all it takes is one kid at Duke his freshman year to get arrested, have to go through the whole process. His parents pay lofty fines, and he's banned for the rest of his time at Duke to go to games. Or Wake Forest or wherever. Like, yeah, I think that'll solve the problem.
I had a total change of thinking on this last night, by the way, because I was like, oh, Kyle Filipowski's a jerk. He's the guy that tripped and pushed the guy. But then I started thinking, well, if there's a streaker going in the outfield and I see an outfielder deck the dude and maybe the outfielder hurts his wrist, I'm on the outfielder's side still.
100%. Dude, that is my court. That is my field. You're not supposed to be here. So if you're here, it's like falling into the gorilla exhibit. Like, gorillas are going to be gorillas. Football players are going to be football players. Baseball players and basketball players are going to defend themselves. You're, by the way, an opposing fan. So it adds a whole nother layer of context. Like, if I see the color of the jersey of the team I just lost to, and this guy is running at me and he's got a mad face on, like he's about to talk trash in my face, or who knows, take a swing at me, I'm going to protect myself. And I have done this. I remember one time I was playing for the Chargers. It was a Chargers fan came onto the field, not a streaker, but just a guy who got on the field, came running into the huddle while we were we were playing the Seahawks at the old Qualcomm. And this guy was like hugging Antonio Gates from behind. And I remember I was talking to somebody to my right. And then when I look back over and I see Gatesy like trying to shake this person off of him, I grabbed the dude and threw him ass over appetite out of our home. I'm like, get the out of here.
I need video of that.
It was awesome.
I would
don't
really
think
like
the
to see it.
telecast, but there's probably video of it somewhere.
We got to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
But Travis is also right. It does look cool.
It does. That's the problem.
That is the problem.
And I think it adds to the environment and the craze of college basketball, especially around this time of year, as we get into conference tournaments, when teams are having their last home games. Like, these are big, meaningful games, and you can feel it permeate throughout the entire crowd. And then when the rush happens, it looks amazing.
I'll tell you, it's like this idea. It's like, well, listen, like every time we celebrate a birthday at my house, we all take out handguns and we fire them into the air.
Yep.
Like that's how we
It's
celebrate.
I've been
a little
there.
different.
Been there.
Well, no, I mean, you're not aiming them at anybody. We're completely safe. Arms completely erect. We're just firing them into the air. Like, but what about when the
Sounds
bullets?
like a nice birthday party.
What about when the bullets lands? Well, we don't worry about those bullets.
Those bullets don't go into orbit?
Oh my gosh. All right. Coming up next, we had a major storyline over the last NFL offseason that really took all the oxygen out of the room. Will it return? We'll discuss on the other side. But first, I want to talk to you about the Good Feet store. These people are the shepherds to better health, a better 2024. If you spent the majority of your last year really struggling with lower back pain or foot or ankle pain, knee pain, hip pain, even if it was something just related to your posture, like, you feel it in your neck, maybe your upper back, and you're like, gosh, I just can't seem to figure this out. I've been to the chiropractor. I've gotten massages. I've stretched. I've went to yoga. I've done everything, and I still have this joint pain. Maybe it's time to look at your feet. So at the Good Feet store, they have these arch supports. It's a try before you buy experience, a free fitting, a free test walk. You walk in there, experts measure everything about your feet, and then they fit you with these arch supports. And like I said, you can purchase footwear there, or you could just put the arch supports in the footwear you show up with. You walk around the store a little bit, see if they're comfortable. If they aren't, they'll tweak them for you. And once you're 100% satisfied, you leave. And if you're like me, you're going to have results in less than a week. By the end of the first week, I was like, wow, the lower back pain is noticeably shrinking. Like I all of a sudden I was feeling like, whoa, I can walk around. I can get out of bed without thinking about it. The knee pain started dissipating. I had some ankle pain and hip pain. That went away. It was incredible. For me, it's been a savior. I'm hoping the same for you. So if you want to give this a try, like I said, it's completely no cost to you. It's all on them. They're going to let you try it out in store. And if it works for you, that's awesome. It's worked for me. Goodfeet.com to set your first appointment. That's goodfeet.com.
Uh-oh, an NFL storyline rearing its ugly head. We'll explain coming up next.
Big Rich, TD and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760. This update presented by eBay Motors. We will start off here with the Padres in spring training. Joey Musgrove starting again yesterday in Peoria. Was unable to get out of the first inning once again. Yu Darvish on the mound today. In the NFL, some running backs are now free agents after Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, Tony Pollard did not get franchise tagged. They can now test the open market. And in college hoops, Aztecs get San Jose State tonight at Viejas Arena. Tip-off scheduled for 8 o'clock. We got pregame coverage for you starting at 7 right here on San Diego Sports 760. A couple of pairs of tickets to that game to give away on the show today. I would keep listening this segment. eBay Motors here for the ride with the parts you need for the prices you want. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, it's guaranteed to fit your ride the first time, every time, or your money back. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions do apply.
Are we fired yet?
Yeah. Was the mic hot?
What for this time?
Oh, okay, good.
Well, yeah, we're working on it. We're working on it. We're trying really hard.
So, something to point out here that I think is very funny. We had 4 different phone numbers, 408-913-661-619, all telling Travis to take a lap. Buddy Jamar on Twitter told Travis to take a lap. Harris on YouTube told Travis to take a lap.
Is that 6 laps or just one?
No, that's 6.
Well, hang on.
Wait, but it's all about one thing.
Yeah. So you ran the lap.
Okay.
Yeah.
I paid my debt.
One lap that cures all the requests for lap because it was all about your Yu Darvish-ish.
I do think this is opening something up now, though.
Yu Darv.
The 3 of us should no longer have lap control. The texters and the YouTubers and the Twitterers should have lap control.
By the way, that term,
I don't know if I...
That term is also used in strip clubs.
What?
Lap control?
So let's be careful.
Just
The roadies, the dogs, the hangers, the bangers. If I know one thing about them, I know they have lap control.
There's no question.
I don't know if I like that really. I think they'll just make me run all show long.
Well, yeah. I mean,
It's out of our control.
It's kind
It's out of our hands.
kind of like not the worst idea. Like
For me,
we're just saying like,
I mean, because one lap is, I gotta take a minute to get my breath back.
how crazy would it be though if like all of a sudden Travis like because he's gumping it every day, just running and running and running. Like all of a sudden we look at him and he looks like a bobblehead because he's like 110 pounds. He's a marathon runner now. And he said, I mean, you can't lose
I
weight.
still have a giant head.
Yeah, you got this big old pumpkin head. I mean, you can't lose weight in your skull.
But you're the one that should be doing laps. You got steps to get in here,
That's a good
or
point.
miles or whatever.
Yeah.
You just got to do 50 miles.
I can't wait to tailgate that.
But I have to do it all at once, which sucks. How am I going to do that,
How,
by the way?
how are you going to do 50 miles?
Well, you figure, okay, if I walk at like a 4 to 5 mile clip, it'll probably take me 10 or 12 hours. Gosh, all right, I'm going to throw up. I don't even want to talk about this.
Now, is treadmill out of the option? Because we could
guess-
just set one up in studio. You could knock it out in a week.
That's well, yeah, actually, yeah, that's not a terrible idea to just like you guys just show up consistently while I'm on the treadmill, just eating cheese doodles in front of me, or like holding a hot dog on the end of like a fishing rod.
Yeah.
No, I mean, they got those desk treadmills now. We have one at home that you could just walk on while you're doing the show.
During the show. Well, no, but then it has to be done. So I would have to like be here walking in the background of the Darren Smith show.
That would be funny, though.
And then in the background of John and Jim, like while they're talking, it's like, well, we don't know about Yuki Matsui. And then all of a sudden you just see me just behind them, lumbering.
I need the IV.
Yeah. Dude, and that's the other thing I'm worried about.
We're just sitting here watching it.
That's, yeah, you guys are
Should we,
just
bring,
like,
should we bring the brown couch in?
that's another mile.
Yeah.
He's another mile in. Maybe we should do it in not our office. Maybe we implore a local company to let us like rent or I guess buy from them a treadmill.
We could probably find one on
I
Facebook.
have one.
Oh, you have one?
I have one of the walking.
But I feel like I'm gonna break that.
Probably.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, 50 miles on that? That's a long ways. Yeah. I mean, there's got to be like Facebook Marketplace. Somebody's getting rid of one because all it does is hold their clothes. I know because I had one.
Of course. Hey, if you really want Aztecs tickets, I suggest you keep listening for a couple more minutes because we're giving away our first pair really soon. I think you know what I'm talking about. Okay, tag your it or maybe not. So here's the deal. We've had multiple star running backs facing free agency after their teams have reportedly opted out of franchise tagging them. So Saquon Barkley among them. It's going to be an interesting offseason for running backs because they made a big stink about how they're underpaid and they're undervalued in the NFL. And it's not fair and we should be paid what we're worth. And there's so many teams that rely on us so heavily, like me, Austin Eckler. Like I caught so many balls that I could be considered a receiver. And also, I ran the ball over 1,000 yards. So I'm a pretty scrappy running back too. Or me, I'm Saquon Barkley. I don't know how he talks, but me, I'm Saquon Barkley. And I do things on the football field that are better than most people at my position. I should be paid more. It's like, okay, yeah. We know, we've watched it. It was great. But the problem is injury. Remember that word that happens all the time with running backs? And go figure, the offseason after, or I should say the regular season that exceeds this offseason where they're all complaining, the lion's share of running backs, star running backs in the NFL get hurt within like the first month of the season.
Saquon Barkley dealt with injuries this year. Austin Eckler dealt with injuries this year. Josh Jacobs, I think, stayed healthy.
Josh Jacobs was healthy. I think he even spent a stint on the sideline. And then Nick Chubb.
Nick Chubb got hurt immediately into the season.
Derrick Henry banged up.
Yep.
I mean, it was like all of them. And it was almost to a man, almost every single one of these running backs who was on a call, except for Christian McCaffrey.
He got hurt this year, too.
Actually, no, yeah. He had like an oblique.
I don't think
thing.
he missed any time, but he definitely wasn't the same player for about 3 weeks.
Yeah. I think the other problem is you can replace a running back for pretty inexpensive price tag.
Like a 5th-round draft pick.
Yeah.
Isaiah Pacheco.
What's guy in the
Austin
Dolphins?
Eckler was undrafted.
The Dolphins. Oh my
Devon
god.
A-Chain.
Yeah. So what was he? 3rd round pick?
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, third round, he was one of the top running backs.
This happens. And by the way, like, I remember I scooped him up on fantasy, like just as a one-off. I'm like, gosh, I need a running back. I guess this guy. And then it was explosive. But that happens every year for somebody on their fantasy football team where they're like, yeah, I'm taking a flyer on this guy. He ends up getting some starts because the star running back gets hurt and he's just as productive. It's not a plug and play position. It's not as easy as that.
No.
You need to have talent, but it's a lot easier to replace than say left tackle or quarterback or star receiver.
So
or
what's the
edge
market?
rusher.
It's because all these guys are now becoming free agents. I mean, you have Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley, Tony Pollard, all free agents now after they didn't get franchise tag. They're on the open market. What are people going to pay them?
Well, the market is less than 12 mil. So think of it like, okay, so the Giants, so here's the deal. They would have had to tag him for $12,109,200. Okay. So he's going to sign a contract for less than that. That's what that means. So star running backs, like the market is somewhere under the franchise tag. Tony Pollard, same thing, right? You know, I mean, like these guys who, and don't get me wrong, like I get it. And I've always said this, and I will continue to be an advocate for these players. Like I want to see them make as much money as they possibly can during their earning window. But you have to be realistic. You have to understand that everybody's like pretty savvy here. They understand like where you are in the pecking order. And running back comes in like probably 10th place, like in terms of order of importance of football player on your field at any given time.
Well,
Unless you're named Christian McCaffrey.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
Derrick Henry can vault himself.
At least 3 years ago, Derrick Henry could.
But that's what I'm saying. Like when Derrick Henry was Derrick Henry, when Adrian Peterson was Adrian Peterson, Christian McCaffrey last year,
LT.
Nick Chubb, certain seasons, like you can launch yourself to a high priority on your team, but it doesn't mean that every running back consistently has that positional value.
Well, yeah, because there's a little bit of rarity to the Christian McCaffreys. There's a little bit of rarity to the Derrick Henry. So that increases the worth. Otherwise, you're looking at this like supply and demand. So, I mean, it's worth what it's worth. It's if you're looking at real estate and there's a ton of houses for sale and all these houses, they work. I mean, they'll get the job done. It sets a price.
Can we please get there so it lowers the price? God, it's really hard house hunting right now.
I'm telling you,
look out of state, buddy.
Popsicles sell better in Tuscaloosa than they do in Montreal.
Right.
You know, I mean, you got to understand like where there's a need, that's where you're going to spend your money, like quarterback, like edge rusher, like receiver, like corner. Running backs, I mean, you know, they're nice. And when you have a great one, it's really nice, but it's not like a necessity like oxygen. Like if I had to choose between popsicles and oxygen, I'm choosing air.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I got to tell you guys about how skinny I am, but we got a couple of really great texts.
Is it more laps?
No, but listen to this. From the 408, I work as an aircraft mechanic on North Island, and the whole shop listens to you guys every single morning. When one of us messes up, there's at least 3 guys that yell, "Take a lap." Keep it going, guys, because we're making it a habit out here as well. 858 says, I vote Rich can't drink on Bar Car Friday until he finishes his 50 miles.
Oh, God.
No.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I do.
What did you do? Storm the court?
Yeah, this is your punishment.
And then 913 says, let the listeners be the lap keepers. Take a lap, Travis. See, that's where it's dangerous.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because now we don't even know what we're taking laps for. It could be like, yeah,
it's because I talk bad about them.
It's all fun and games until the rabbit gets the gun.
619 says, Travis, take a crap. That's different.
Well, yeah.
Wow.
Like on command?
Yeah, I guess.
You better poop. And we want to watch it. If I'm gonna be watched on the treadmill, you get over there and you squat.
Listen, program director Mary, we need a treadmill and a toilet in this studio. It's imperative.
Or at very least a bucket.
Yeah. Be great if there was a porta potty.
Yeah.
But the good news is TD can take all these laps now because he's not fat.
Yeah.
So skinny.
Yeah.
So skinny.
Right.
And that's because of Wayne and Chloe.
But you know who else is skinny? Fletch.
Yeah. Guys,
I mean,
right here.
You're actually like the skinniest here.
Yeah,
SDFatLoss.com is the reason. If you get over there today, you'll get a free consultation with Wayne and Chloe, who are family members of this show now. We love Wayne and Chloe, and they'll give you a roadmap on how to drop a ton of weight dramatically, quickly, so you can show up to your next family reunion in a few weeks, and they'll be like, damn, look at you.
Yeah, dude.
That's never happened to me.
Yeah. My family members never go, damn. And nobody says,
all the time.
These chicken tenders are deck.
Does Keith Fletcher say damn
All the time.
Damn, son, you look fire. Sorry.
That
you guys-
ass is dank.
Are you guys my Aunt Sandra? Because that's what it sounds like right now.
Sandra says that to you?
All the time.
Wow.
So what you guys need to do is get on over to sdfatloss.com and figure out how you can make your family members say inappropriate things to you all the time.
Yeah.
sdfatloss.com. Get a free consultation today. Get your roadmap and start dropping weight immediately. If the three of us idiots can do it, I promise you can as well.
When the pressure is on to not only win, but win huge, is that fair? We'll discuss coming up next. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760. If you're listening on the free iHeartRadio app, good. Continue to, because we're going to give some opportunities to win tickets through the app only this week. And we have great prizes. Chris Stapleton tickets. He's playing a show at Petco Park Saturday. This Saturday, you can only win pairs of tickets right here on San Diego Sports 760 this week. And also, we got 2 pairs of Aztecs tickets, and we promised to give away 1 pair last segment, and we didn't do it. So we have to give them away right now.
Don't do that well.
Okay, so 6:55, call in at exactly 6:55, and you win those Aztecs tickets. They're set to face San Jose State tonight at Viejas Arena. By the way, that number to call is 877-767-4760 or 877-SORG-760, SORG spelled SORG.
You like it when Big Boss Noreen came in and she said, I like that you put the phone number everywhere so you didn't forget, but I thought we were going to change it to something 760 related.
Yeah. Well, and I said, yeah, I was this close to saying, isn't that the worst number you've ever seen? And she was close to saying it too. It was, well, anyways, she's a busy lady.
877 Popism 0.
Yeah, you got it.
That's my favorite.
Call at 6:55. You're going to win the first pair of Aztecs tickets. We got 2 pairs today. Okay. Speaking of the Aztecs, big game tonight. They are favored by 21.5 against the Spartans. The reason why this is a big game, because they're all big games. When you're in college basketball, every single win or loss is graded. It's on a sliding scale, and these metrics are so important. So I'm going to ask this question, and we could volley this around. Is it fair? Is it fair that the Aztecs not only have to win, but they have to beat this team into the dirt? You have to absolutely embarrass another college basketball team in order to advance in the race. They have to beat this team by 30 points for this to be considered a good win.
Here's why it's fair. And you're not going to like this, but this is what
it
is. College basketball is so important now when it comes to getting it right because of betting. And so when you look at the final field of 68 teams, which is the first 4 in and the regular field of 64, when you look at that final field, you need to make sure that they're there for the right reasons, right? And if you're looking at college basketball in the Mountain West, maybe they get slighted if this isn't the way college basketball is, because they get into the tournament based on numbers. And metrically, San Diego State should beat the crap out of San Jose State. So that's why it's important here, because San Diego State should go in winning by 30 points tonight. That's how I believe, and I think that's what the numbers would show you. If it wasn't for all these numbers, you would get into the tournament based on the storylines, and that would do a disservice to the Mountain West this year.
I agree with that's how it works. I agree with you got to have some sort of metric to figure out how you see these, but no, it's lame. It's dumb.
No.
So it's dumb.
No.
So San Jose State, the coach is like, hey guys, as long as we don't lose by 20, great game. Great game.
They're not getting into the tournament anyways.
So it's dumb.
Well, here's my thought process. So every little thing is quantified and metrically evaluated, except for a very important part: injury, health, illness. Like if your team isn't 100%, you don't get an excuse. So if Jaden Ledee catches COVID, or somebody, you have influenza A or food poisoning spread throughout the locker room for a week.
You know what's crazy? I do actually think that's taken into account.
Well, which metric? Because I don't think it is on net rankings. I've never seen an injury metric on net rankings.
I think it's included in the luck metric, which there is one of those.
Interesting. And you think it's a piece of that algorithm?
They take everything into account when it comes to that one.
Well, that's I've never heard that. So I want to research that before, but that would be interesting if they do. Look, if they are dialing it in so specifically that they're even including luck, like the chance of injury, the chance of, and I wonder how that's weighted, and I wonder if it changes depending on how many star players are out. That's interesting. I did not know that. If that's true, that changes my opinion on things. It's really, really fascinating where we are with college sports in general, because what has happened is it's turned into a bigger business than it was before, with players being paid now. So less people are going to be brokenhearted over a team getting stomped by 30. If you know that some of the San Jose State Spartans are famous on TikTok and they're earning $1 million throughout the year,
right? Right.
Like it's going to take away that, hey, these are student athletes out there. Okay, bub,
right.
You need to take it easy on them.
Right. Yeah.
Embarrassing them out there. Yeah. So interesting times we're living through.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, coming up next, this is boy, oh boy. We do some things on this show we are going to make a comparison that you're not going to hear. I promise you, you are not going to hear on any other sports talk radio show this offseason.
Hot takes.
We are serving up hot.
Hot takes and our morning monologues.
No, on the other side, it's Big Rich, TD and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760.
Hour number 2, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. This update presented by Progressive Insurance. Starting off with Padres spring training, Joey Musgrove started again yesterday in Peoria. Unable to get out of the first inning again. He did come back and pitch more later in the game in the second inning. Yu Darvish is going to be on the mound today for the Padres. Over in the NFL, some running backs now free agents after Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, Tony Pollard did not get franchise tagged. They can now all test the open market. And in college hoops, Aztecs 20th in the AP poll, 16th in KenPom, 18th in the net. They get San Jose State tonight at Viejas Arena. Tip-off scheduled for 8 o'clock. We got pregame coverage for you live from Viejas starting at 7 right here on San Diego Sports 760. Looking for a career you'll love with flexibility, great pay, and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces? Join the growing team at Progressive Insurance. Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today.
Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, happy Tuesday to those who celebrate right here on San Diego Sports 760. We just gave away our first pair of Aztecs tickets. We have more Aztecs Hoops tickets coming up in the show. Another pair to give away. We're going to be doing either that or Chris Stapleton tickets this hour. We have a pair of tickets to see his show at Petco Park this weekend. Also, we have a $50 gift card to Draft Republic. Awesome restaurant if you've never went. It's right there in the title. If you want a beer on tap, that's the place to go. All right, so we talked a little bit about Padres, gave an update from Peoria earlier. We got into a little bit of the salary cap from that broke yesterday, like a huge advance in the salary cap, specifically talking about the running backs. But we really didn't dive deep yesterday. We kind of ran out of time. I wanted to ask you guys before we get to our morning monologues. So NFL, this ever-expanding salary cap, do you think about it as a fan at all? Like, does this enter your consciousness as a fan? Do you ever like look at the salary cap and go, oh, good? Or is it, oh, no? Or is it like, you know, like, for example, Fletch, as a 49ers fan, like when you saw the numbers came out, what was your reaction to it? Or was there no reaction? You could be honest.
My exact reaction was, oh, well, that makes getting Brandon Ayuk locked up long-term a lot easier.
Boom. All right. As a Denver Broncos fan, TD, what was your reaction to it?
I thought, cool, we can spend some more money and actually get some players here. I mean, so that's the only time that I think about the salary cap, though, is when you're out of money.
Yeah. Well, right. Like with Russell Wilson's contract, you're thinking if we trade him away and we have to absorb some of that,
we're stuck.
Yeah. But with an advance in the salary cap, it gets a little easier to make those numbers work. So you can massage things out. Yeah. For me, as a former player, when I see the salary cap go up, I keep thinking like, geez, like this sport from where, I mean, look, I retired in 2014 was my last season. So I'm about a decade out. Where this sport was even 10 years ago to where it is now, it is, I mean, like Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce this year took over the world.
By the way, that was a clue in the mini crossword the other day.
Isn't that wild?
That made me mad.
I mean, it's going to be a Jeopardy answer for years to come.
Right. Like, by the way, there's some experts now weighing in, psychologists weighing in, saying that their love is built to last. And you know why? They're wearing matching shoes.
There you have it.
I mean,
I knew it. And me and Annie were always wearing matching shoes.
I ran out and bought Sarah some blue slip-on Vans.
Well, Vans always land on their soles.
Here's the problem. If you need to know how it's going in my house, I'm wearing stilettos this morning. Christian Louboutins. Just walking around.
Bloody shoes.
Yeah, just walking around with some red soles. No, look, here's the deal. It's for me, it's bizarre because as things keep going, I keep thinking almost like, you know, because as a former player, sometimes your benefits increase as a result of the popularity of the sport and all that's great. But it does feel kind of like when they talk about the stock market, like there's a bubble, right? There's a housing bubble. There's a bubble, you know, with these tech stocks. Like there's a crypto bubble.
Right.
Like I keep thinking like, when's the NFL bubble going to burst? Like, can it continue expanding at this exponential rate? Or are we going to see some sort of contraction soon?
There's probably got to be some sort of contraction, just like if you were watching the housing market. It goes up and then it drops a little, and it goes up and it drops a little. So, but overall, if you take a step back and look at the numbers, I mean, they continue to go up. It's a gradual incline, but it does jump up and down. Right now, the NFL is on a high, and I mean a high. Now, when it comes to this salary cap, To me, this isn't so much of, okay, we're going to create some more room so you can get some more players. It's we need to create some more room because the housing market, the player market is so expensive that you're going to have to spend some more cash to keep a quarterback, to get a quarterback.
Well, what's interesting is I think of things in terms of like percentages. So if I'm an agent and I'm working out contracts, I'm thinking about what my player's value is to the cap. So I'm not looking at a quarterback and saying like, oh, quarterbacks go for whatever it is. The going rate 3 years ago was 40 million and then it's jumped up to 50 million annual value. I mean, but that's all in comparison to the cap. The cap goes up. What is it? $60 million?
Yeah.
Is that how much it went up? Year over year, $60 million. And by the way, this is the way the salary cap works for anybody who's kind of uninitiated. It's a split of the revenue the league takes in from these broadcasting rights deals. So 50-50. And it's not exactly
30 million.
30 million. Okay, thank you. I had it doubled.
It went from 242 to 255.
Well, the reason why I think of 60 instead of 30 is because like where the salary cap goes up 30, the owners get $30 more million, right? Because it's all split down the middle.
242 to 255.
No, that's not right.
It doesn't.
$30 million
$30 million increase.
Many speculate. Oh no, many were speculating it was going to be 242, which would have been a $20 million increase. It's a $30 million.
Oh God. Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
So 30 mil, right? This is the way I think of it. So all of a sudden, whatever percentage. So what is the total of the salary cap now?
255.4 million.
Okay, so you take 30 million off of that. That's what? I don't know. 15%.
Oh yeah.
You've added 15%. So if I'm an agent of a quarterback, I'm thinking I need to find a way to add 15% to the annual value my quarterback gets because I think in terms of like pacing with the market.
Right.
So it seems like all these teams are getting all this money, but if I'm Patrick Mahomes' agent right now, I'm Lee Steinberg. I'm going to the Chiefs and I'm saying salary cap went up by 15%. Patrick Mahomes' contract needs to go up by 15%.
Because that's what people have been talking about for a while. Is there a point where quarterbacks actually just get the percentage? That way, every year you don't have to worry about restructuring. You're just getting the increase as the league increases.
Yeah. Well, I feel like that day is coming. Like,
well, a lot of people thought Mahomes was going to be the first one because it was so obvious that you're sticking with him for the next 15, 20 years.
And all I think it's going to take is one star player with a dynasty. Well, all it's going to take is going to take a star player to set this with a trusted franchise. Like the Browns got away with giving a Deshaun Watson a completely guaranteed contract, and everybody's made fun of the Browns like for screwing it up. But if Deshaun Watson actually performed on that deal and he was like going gangbusters and the Cleveland Browns appeared in the Super Bowl instead of the Chiefs, like all of a sudden there'd be some other franchise. I'm telling you, thinking maybe we ought to guarantee a quarterback some money now.
Right.
Maybe that's what quarterbacks would start asking.
That was the same story with Russell Wilson out in Denver. When that contract was done, we were talking like this could be the future of contracts, and it just didn't work. So now it's a mistake.
I'm going to go quick here, and then I want to get to TD next because he has a tasty little morsel for us. We'll let Fletch be the anchor on Morning Monologues. Mine is about LeBron James, and we're going to get into this a little bit later on. But LeBron James, he's playing the role of Papa Bear, and he's making some of the mistakes that we've all made on the playground, and we've all made at our kids' sporting events, and we've all made away from the limelight and the exposure that LeBron James has to contend with. He put out a tweet, he deleted it. We'll read it later on, but he was defending his son. And what's interesting about that is the dynamic in the household, right? When my dad did something embarrassing, I would take him off to the side, be like, "Yo, Dad, what do you think you're doing? These are my buddies. Like, we're having pepperoni pizza, and you keep coming into the room. It's like it's a little embarrassing. Like, so you're like kind of butt out, Dad. But when LeBron James puts out a tweet defending his son, the world reacts. So it's a little bit of a different situation for Bronny Jr.
Yeah.
So we'll get into this a little later on, but I just wanted to talk about how kind of adorable it is that it doesn't matter where you are in life. It doesn't matter how big your star shines. Like you still have these roles that everybody has. It's like when you open Us magazine, you're like, they are just like us.
Stars. They're just like us. You know what? It's with my kids, it was, I did something embarrassing. My kids would go to Mom. And then Mom would come to me, and then I would have to then retract that tweet.
Now you're acting like this is past tense.
Right.
Yeah, well, I mean, because it happened yesterday. Listen, my morning monologue, something I've been thinking about for a little while here. It's just been on my mind, and self-driving cars. Okay.
How did I know?
Texters, get ready.
What?
Oh boy.
What? No, this is legit. This is legit. Listen.
You don't sniff a lap?
What?
You don't even sniff taking a lap?
No,
with-
this is
okay.
solid.
All right.
No, this is not lap
No,
worthy.
please continue.
Okay, listen. If you watched The Fifth Element, you watched Total Recall, okay?
Yes and yes.
Star Tours. You've been on Star Tours at Disneyland?
Yep.
Okay. The one thing that all of these items have in common when we're staring into the future, before driving cars existed, self-driving cars, I mean, it's the self-driving cars now that they're going, they're not really working. They're getting into crashes. People don't really trust them. You're missing a robot driver. They all have robot drivers. Why don't we have robot drivers in our future self-driving cars? I need it now.
Okay.
The end.
Oh wait. Okay. So like almost like the Jetsons where they press a button and the robot comes up out of the chair.
Remember Total Recall when they got in the taxis and there was a dude driving who would turn completely around to talk to you?
I actually agree with this. Now, you would be wasting a potential passenger seat.
I'll take it.
By having the robot there, but just like being able to like being in the passenger seat and leaning over and being like, oh my God, this drive, right? And having a robot just look at you and just be like, psst, I know. Hey, pal, do you have to pee?
Right.
All right, well, this is a long, boring stretch. May as well nod off for a bit. I'll wake you up if I need you to tag in.
That would be fantastic.
Actually,
Come on.
All right, no lap.
Thank you.
No lap.
Thank you.
He's 100% right.
But
Okay.
I don't think Fletch agrees.
No lap is fine. You didn't make any bad puns.
Okay.
That's
All right.
really my lap threshold.
The puns?
We should start calling him Big Pun. Is that name taken?
I don't think so.
All right, Fletch, what do you got for
Try
us?
the hashtag.
So I ended up being stuck at the office a little longer yesterday, and this is not my morning monologue, just an observation. I had 3 or 4 different salespeople come up to me with their strategy for fighting 10-year-olds,
Mhm.
which was pretty cool.
Mhm. Yeah, same. Even when I got home, I had family members talking about that I could not take on an infinite number of 10-year-olds.
Okay, so check this out. I talk about this so much that nobody wants to talk to me about this anymore. I'm always talking about fighting massive amounts of children, and I go through different age ranges to the point where I'm like, well, I mean, really, like if they're 12, and then everyone's like, okay, Rich, we get it.
Right. So on
Just funny
Mondays,
that everyone has a take.
right on Mondays, inside baseball information, we have to have meetings after the show that we talk about the good and bad things of the show, some strategies to work on. What's the rest of the week looking like? What do you need from us? Blah blah blah. All those things, from people above us. I thought yesterday's meeting was going to go in the route of, we shouldn't talk about fighting kids,
right.
And instead it was like, that's one of the best segments you guys have done.
Bingo.
Congratulations.
Fighting kids, that's the way to go. For my actual morning monologue, I was going the direction of the running backs because they're probably going to get no respect this offseason as well. It's probably going to be this long drawn out thing where a lot of people are complaining. And so I thought about the restaurant industry because of course I did. Everyone's worked in the restaurant industry. So I went and I compared offensive positions in football to positions working at a restaurant.
Oh my God, I love this so much. Okay,
so
so quarterback, running back, wide receiver, offensive line. Did you include tight end?
I did not include tight ends. I could think of something for one.
No, but yeah, let's stay with those 4.
Offensive line are the busboys, which is what I was growing up in restaurants. I think I've been a busboy at 7 different restaurants.
Okay.
It's a brutal job.
How many times did you get fired?
I never got fired.
Okay.
I quit all of them, and every single time I quit, I said I'm never working in another restaurant again. So far, one's holding.
Only to work in another restaurant.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So busboy, it is a brutal job. You're running around like crazy. You're cleaning up all the messes, but at least you get tipped out. And honestly, at one point at a restaurant, I was bussing making like $40 an hour, which was pretty sweet. Wide receivers, they're the line cooks. You generally get paid a little more than minimum wage. You're in charge of making the chaos look really pretty on the plate. So wide receivers have a really tough job, but it always comes out looking pretty. I think of Jamar Chase catches. Running backs, they are the dishwashers.
Okay.
The hardest job in the restaurant by far. TD, you've been a dishwasher?
I've been a dishwasher and a busboy.
You don't get tipped out if you're a dishwasher. And there's a line about a mile long ready to take your place if you decide to up and quit.
Wow. Yeah, because it's the lowest level, entry level position, and everybody's good at washing dishes.
And if you're asking for more money, they'll be like, oh, I got 10 more people who want this job who will take the same amount of money.
That's so fascinating.
Quarterbacks, they're the server in the best section in the restaurant.
Which, by the way, also going back to running backs, dishwashers, a really good dishwasher, it makes the kitchen run so much smoother. And a bad one, like when you don't have cups or plates available for certain things that are being served, or they're breaking plates. I mean,
but the company's always willing to move on. And then quarterbacks are the server in the best section, which everyone in the restaurant generally hates this person because they get all the praise and all the blame, even if you don't deserve it. Also, they get the most money. By
good
far.
take. Good take.
Okay.
Good take.
Okay. Hang on. We got to do this. So, all right. Travis, think of something super nerdy because I know you will.
It's his halftime coming up. You want to stack laps?
Yeah. What? And I will too. I'll think of something to compare. So 4 positions on the offense: quarterback, running back, offensive line, and wide receiver. Okay, we'll give our comparisons, but first this.
Well, the Padres lost to the Guardians yesterday, 7-4. Joe Musgrove had his second start of the preseason, and it went way better than the first. I mean, way better. He only gave up 4 runs on 3 hits and a walk. So that was good. Michael King came in. He came in to save the day, actually. Only allowed 1 hit on 2 innings, but they didn't save the day because they still lost. Golden Boy Ethan Salas got his first hit of the spring with a double to the opposite field in the 7th inning. And Yu Darvish going to make his spring training debut tonight against the Royals. In college hoops, the Aztecs take on the San Jose Spartans tonight at Viejas Arena. 8 p.m. tip there. Is that correct?
7 o'clock pregame.
I knew it. I think the Spartan cheerleaders will be there. So look forward to hearing things like, my name is Craig. I give good hugs. You're not my friend if you do drugs. God, I can't wait.
Go Spartans! Woo! Actually, go Aztecs.
Yeah.
But if you watch SNL, you know what we're doing.
Exactly. In the NBA, the Knicks got one of the most insane wins that I have seen, at least this season, leaving the Pistons. Monty Williams absolutely furious. In fact, I'll put the link in here, Fletch, so you can play this thing. Oh, you already got it? Look, there was a non-call on a hard foul. There was a call on a soft foul. And then with the Knicks down by 1 with 20 seconds remaining on the clock, I'm going to mess up all these names, by the way.
Go ahead.
Jalen Brunson missed a 3-pointer that was Grimes, who passed the ball to is it Simon or Simone? I don't know.
I thought Dante DiVincenzo got
Fontecchio, who ended up turning it over to Isaiah Hartenstein. Then Hartenstein passed it to Dante Vincenzo, who suffered a turnover to Asur Thompson. However, Thompson ended up being knocked down by DiVincenzo to get another steal for the Knicks, and it sounded something like this.
I thought you wanted Monty Williams. So what people are pissed about is the fact that the play up the sideline that you so eloquently put did not get called a foul.
Right.
And it probably could have been. However, there's a lot more leniency when it comes to the ball being loose. That a lot more contact is allowed. And then the final play, the Josh Hart layup, which was an and one, probably shouldn't have been a foul call, but it was called a foul.
Yeah.
So that's why Monty Williams was losing his mind post-game. He's going to get a probably $100,000 fine because of his post-game press conference. And I kind of like the refs shouldn't be the ones deciding the game. But then the foul on Josh Hart wasn't a foul, and they called that one. So it's like you did a really good job, refs, and then a really bad job back to back.
Yeah, it's so interesting how it works.
In the end, though, New Yorkshire Terrier the Pistons.
Oh, boy.
113, 111. Some other scores around the NBA. The Heat burgered the Kings, 123, 110. The Knicks flixed.
Burger King. Yeah.
The Grizzlies,
Did you say Netflix? Oh, God.
111.86, and the Raptors spelling the Pacers 902, 130 to 122.
Tori Spelling.
I'm not going to say it.
Listen,
that's pretty good though. 902, 130.
913 at 719 before you even started your stuff.
That's incredible.
Take a pre-lap?
Yeah, I mean, you can't. No, we're not banking laps. And honestly, that was some of your best work.
I think it was from the pronunciation of all the names.
Oh, it might have been, yeah.
Oh, I thought I did a pretty good job there.
I think you called somebody Josh Harkensteiner, which I mean, what
His name's Josh Hart.
Yeah, it was pretty incredible.
Say Dante DiVincenzo.
Okay,
DiVincenzo.
that sounds like the same thing. I could no discernible difference. So real quick, I think Fletch, you're a genius comparing the 4 offensive positions to positions around a restaurant. That's fun. So while TD was going through his halftime, I put together my comparison. I'm going to compare the 4 offensive positions to things you'll see around a pizza party.
Okay.
So check this out. So the offensive line, well, those are the guests at the pizza party. Like they're the eaters. Like,
right.
I mean,
right.
I mean, they're devouring pizza.
Right.
There's no question about it. You need them to have the party. Like if you don't have an offensive line, you don't have anything.
That's true.
You are
that is true.
So the pizza party is a fail without the guests. The offensive side of the football team is a fail without an offensive line, or at least a decent one.
Right.
Moving on to wide receivers. Wide receivers are the pizza cutter. It's kind of sleek. It's kind of slick.
Mm-hmm.
They divvy up the pie. And I mean, I guess the cutter isn't exactly talking about how big the slices need to be, but they are determining that, to a certain or lesser extent.
Right.
So the wide receivers are the pizza cutter. Okay. Running backs, they're the pizza box. Okay. They're replaceable. Like you're not making decisions based off of the pizza box.
And they're carrying the load.
Load. And sometimes they're better looking than others. Some of those boxes are pretty greasy. They're a little runny. Sometimes they get crushed on top. But if you just put it in a new box, it's like the same pizza. So we're ready to roll, boss.
That's true.
And then I'll say that the quarterbacks are the delivery boy.
Wow.
I mean, you want to talk about not being able to have the party.
Yeah. No, seriously.
You need guests, but you need the delivery boy. Otherwise, there's no pizza.
Right. You got to get the ball there.
So that's mine. What's yours?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't thought of it. I initially wrote down the same restaurant situation as we were going through that, but then you wanted something different. So I'll come up with something different here if you give me 2 minutes.
Okay.
You got a 4-minute commercial break.
Yeah.
Done.
And if it's not done when we come back, guess what? Lap time, buddy. Lap time. And this time we're going to time you.
Oh, God.
No, I'm kidding. Actually, we should start timing them. That would be absolutely awesome. All right. Coming up next, did the prince tell the king to lay down the sword? That's on the other side. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760.
This update is presented by Mothers Against Drunk Driving. We will start off with Padres spring training. Joe Musgrove started again yesterday in Peoria. Yu Darvish going to be on the mound today, getting some work in the NFL. Some running backs now free agents after Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, and Pollard did not get franchise tagged. They can all test the open market. College hoops, Aztecs 20th in the AP poll, 16 in KenPom, 18 in net. They have San Jose State tonight at Viejas Arena. Tip-off scheduled for 8 o'clock. We got pregame coverage for you live from Viejas Arena beginning at 7 right here on 760. For victims of drunk and drug driving, your grief is unique, but you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call the 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit madd.org.
Big Rich Eating Fletch, San Diego Sports 760. It is restaurant week, and we have a gift card for you, a $50 gift card to Draft Republic. Just keep listening for your chance to win those. More information, you can head on over to SanDiegoRestaurantWeek.com, but keep listening this segment because we will be giving those away. I can guarantee that.
All right. So we have, and that's a guarantee you can trust. We
Right.
never forget, not
Right.
once, ever. So check this out. Before we get to this story, where LeBron James, he stepped into it a little bit. I mean, I don't want to overstate this, but I want to get your guys' reaction to this because I have my own reaction. TD, do you have your quarterback, wide receiver, running back, offensive line comparisons?
Yeah,
So,
I even added a couple more.
okay, so Fletch, you did restaurants.
Okay.
And you had your offensive line as the bus boys, running backs as dishwashers, quarterbacks are the servers, the wide receivers are the line cooks. I said pizza party, QB, delivery boy, offensive line are your guests. No pizza party without guests. Your pizza cutter or your wide receivers in the pizza box is the running back. What did you go with?
Star Trek.
I knew it.
Texters, get ready.
What? This is, again, solid take. This is not lap worthy. Okay.
Okay. Let's see. Well, we'll be the judge.
Start off with special teams. Okay.
Special teams.
We're going to get down to like the water boys.
It's Lieutenant Scott, right?
Don't know if we have enough power.
He only comes in on special occasions.
That's a good point.
He's only called in on special occasions. We'll move on to the offensive line.
Okay.
This is going to be a hot take.
All right.
It's Mr. Spock.
Wow.
Yeah, I know that's what I'm saying. Okay. But listen, Mr. Spock is there to make the best decisions to save the crew. He's there to save.
I don't believe
The
this
QB.
is wise, Captain.
What I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
all right, yeah.
Offensive line. Wide receiver. Lieutenant Uhura. Okay.
Uhura.
Listen, she has to decipher long distance messages. Okay.
Okay. Well,
She's easily the most athletic on the team.
no question.
Quite possibly the sexiest on the team.
The prettiest. There's no doubt.
Okay.
I mean, DK Metcalf. He's built like an action figure.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uhura is a brick house.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Running back. Dr. McCoy. He's always just a tad bit angry over his job description.
Yeah.
Thinks he's worth more than he actually is.
Oh my God. This is perfect.
Okay. Tight end. Again, hot take, because I know where everybody thinks the quarterback is.
Yeah,
The
and
tight-
it better be.
Tight end is Captain James Tiberius Kirk.
The hell out of here.
Listen to me. Okay, listen to me. This is a new NFL. This is the tight end, James T. Kirk. He's the Travis Kelce of space exploration. All eyes are on him. He's getting all the ladies.
This does not compute.
It does, because wait till I tell you who the quarterback is.
I'm in a faraway land called Australia.
That is accurate. The quarterback in the Star Trek comparison.
Oh, I know what it is.
It's the Starship Enterprise.
Of course it
Yes,
is.
it's the
Of
character.
course it is.
It's the face of the franchise. It's the first thing you see in the opening credits, and it carries the whole damn team.
You know what? Two things. I love this comparison.
Thank you.
And I am a secret nerd. You know
Fair
what?
enough. Welcome to the team.
Okay, so I realize I've been sitting next to Travis for some part of 2 years now.
Mhm.
And TD, I'll make fun of him openly about how nerdy he is. every single reference he makes, I understand. Every single time he brings up like,
thank you.
You know, I mean, I'm having like an identity crisis right now. Like, what is wrong with me? I knew first of all, you nailed it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Second of all, I need to see my therapist.
I didn't know any of those other than Captain Kirk and Spock.
Half of our audience is like dialed and they understand, but also half
the
of
other
that
half turned it off.
But half of that half are pissed at some of these comparisons.
Yeah.
Like the Spock. Oh, there's no doubt. There's going to be some people who are going to blow back on.
It's Spock's this dude, right?
Yeah. That's
live long and prosper.
Yeah, that's his people. They make that signal.
Yeah.
Live long and prosper. Okay, so from that, no easy segues in sports talk radio. We now move on to LeBron James.
Thank God we're professionals.
Yeah, well, duh. And we do have those tickets coming up, or excuse me, that gift card coming up in just a second. $50 to Draft Republic. If you're waiting for those, we'll be asking you to call in a second. But
can you read again what LeBron actually tweeted out?
Okay, so this is it. So Bronny James is not playing well at USC. Inconsistent, I should say. I don't want to say not playing well. It's his first year with the Trojans. And so there's mock drafts going on that are excluding Bronny or even excluding him from next year's mock draft. Like there's some analysts going in on him pretty hard because his father is a superstar. There are huge expectations for Bronny. And there's also expectations that he will play in the NBA regardless of how he plays at the college level. So he tweets this out. This is LeBron James, by the way. Can y'all please just let the kid be a kid and enjoy college basketball? The work and the results will ultimately do the talking no matter what he decides to do. If y'all don't know, he doesn't care what mock drafts say. He just works. Earned, not given. So he goes on this fiery rant and then immediately deletes the tweet. So, okay. First blush reactions to the tweet itself, and then we'll get to the other context.
So it's kind of crazy because you wouldn't think that you would have a really great comparison for the greatest of all times kid struggling, right? But we've had this now week to week, like back-to-back weeks with Charlie Woods and Tiger Woods, and then LeBron James and Bronny James.
Yeah.
And I think that they're very similar stories, and I'm going to have the same reaction to both of them. Can we just wait a little bit? God, they're kids. Like, why do we have to do just because we knew that LeBron James was going to be a superstar by the time he was in 8th grade, just because we knew that Tiger Woods was going to be a superstar by the time he was in 8th grade, doesn't mean that has to translate to their kids because they grew up in very different environments. The outside factors have been so different for both of these people. Now, Bronny James and Charlie Woods, I think, are both going to get a shot at the pro level because of who their dads are. I don't know if they're going to be great. No one does. But the Bronny James thing, it's weird that people are going so hard on him this early on in his life. He's a freshman in college. Like, it's weird that we're going so hard on him so early. Why don't we just wait a little bit? And guess what? If he doesn't pan out, he'll be like 99.9% of the rest of college basketball players who don't make it to the NBA.
Well, there's a number of things at play here. One, I don't think LeBron needed to delete that tweet other than I'm sure it made his son very uncomfortable. So I get that part of it. Two, the comparisons to that the media does, that we do, that people do. You see their father, you see LeBron James, you see a Tiger Woods, you see how good they are. They have a child, and you immediately go, well, it's their offspring. They have to be that good. You are immediately going to put them up as a comparison to them. I mean, it's almost impossible.
It's not a direct clone. There's a mom's DNA in there too, and the moms have really screwed up.
If it was a direct clone, if they were twins, that doesn't mean that they're the same person.
It's exactly right.
So it doesn't matter. It's just so hard, and it's unfortunate that Tiger Woods' son, LeBron James' son, will always have to try to live up to the expectations of their father. The only way it wouldn't happen is if they didn't play the sport.
Well, yeah, that's accurate. By the way, there was a second tweet he added, and to all the other kids out there striving to be great, just keep your head down, blinders on, keep grinding. These mock drafts don't matter one bit. I promise you, only the work matters. Let's talk real basketball people. Okay, so those two tweets were deleted. Also, from an outlet, or I should say a handle on Twitter or X called Brick Muse, they did a how it started versus how it's going. So back in March of 2023, LeBron James tweeted out, Bronny definitely better than some of the cats I've been watching on League Pass. This S is lightweight hilarious. And then now he's asking for people not to judge his son too harshly with these mock drafts or, explaining that, the real basketball is all in the hard work. Look, what he is a dad. He's a dad and he's stepping into it like all dads do. He's getting way too hyped for his kid and he's also defending him too much. Every single kid has this moment with his dad where it's almost like you're pushing him away. You're saying like, hey, I'm out from under your wing now. Like I'm my own man. Like I bet you Bronny saw this tweet. He called his dad and said, delete that immediately. I don't need you fighting my battles for me.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. And so that's how I figured this went. LeBron James didn't step out of line. He's defending his son. Bronny James has done nothing wrong. But to your point, nobody likes nepotism.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody likes it.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're the nephew of the CEO of a company and all of a sudden you get those promotions before some of your counterparts who are working just as hard as you, or you're getting in at a higher level than most of the entry level people, well, as a result of that, people are going to be pissed. Yeah. And Bronny James, no offense to Bronny, if his name wasn't Bronny, he wouldn't be at USC.
Right.
Also, disservice done by his parents.
What do you mean?
The naming him Bronny.
Well, no.
Or LeBron Jr.
Look, I mean, I named my son. You're proud of your name. I was named after my dad. I named my son after me. Like you're proud of your name. I get that. But nepotism, when all of a sudden
you have a kid named Rich?
Yeah, Ty. His first name's really Richard.
Wow.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
Little Dick Hornberger.
Little Dick Hornberger.
858 texted in before we get to how skinny TD is and give away that gift card. Food runners are the running backs. Busters are the tight ends. Line cooks are the offensive line because their job is very important and only gets noticed when food doesn't turn out good. Bleep, when they do a good job as well, it gets overlooked.
Always.
I like the 913. Travis going to be doing laps like warp speed today.
And 913 also said, Scotty, can you beam TD up for some space laps?
And the answer is yes, we can. Yeah. Yes, we can. Okay.
Does the beam up have a weight limit? Because you're far below it now.
Yeah. All of a sudden, you're wearing the hell out of that flannel.
That is not my concern anymore.
No, never. Well, it used to be.
We used to be.
Isn't anymore. Hey, really quick, we got to give this gift card away. $50 to Draft Republic. 877-767-4760. That's 877-POPISM0. If you want to dial in and win that $50 gift card, you just have to be caller number 3 at 7:47. Don't you call right now. I see you on you got to wait till 7:47.
Time out. By the way, if you go to Draft Republic, you can still do SD fat loss.
You're damn right.
Yeah. I mean, there's a little 20/80 rule there, which is great. And look, that's why it works out for us because we can't be that strict. We can't be we can't be held to these restraints, okay?
Absolutely not.
Look, actually, I've done these really restrictive diets before and have failed miserably. I've done fad diets before and have lost weight, but then gained it right back as soon as I stopped doing whatever the fad diet is because, well, that's yo-yo dieting, folks. These prescription medication diets that are all the rage right now. You stop these prescription medications that are just appetite suppressants. You start eating again. You become a big fat fatty one more time. In fact, you'll not only gain the weight right back, you'll gain even more weight back, which isn't good. You don't want a yo-yo diet, and with SD fat loss, you won't. They'll show you the correct way to lose weight, the healthy way to lose weight fast. Once you lose the weight, they're gonna stick with you. They're gonna stay with you. They're gonna make sure you keep that weight off. And look, it becomes a lifestyle. You'll feel better. You'll tack on some years to the life. You're doing a service for your family. All around good things. In fact, once you start doing it, your family gets involved. That's what happened with me. I started SD fat loss. All of a sudden, my close friends, my family around me, they see the changes. They see how I'm eating, and they go, wait, we want to jump on board. We want to do the same thing. Do it with SD Fat Loss. You can go there right now, sdfatloss.com. Schedule your free consultation today.
They're going to be so proud of you.
They're going to be so proud.
Wayne, we're going to see Wayne and Chloe on Thursday. They are going to be so proud of Travis. He is like half of Travis.
I'm going to be so sore from all the high fives.
You're going to be really excited about this. The future is here. We have breaking news on the other side. Crazy. This is coming up next.
Big Rich, Seedy, and Fletch. It's San Diego Sports 760. It is only Tuesday. It feels like it's flying by.
That's wild.
Yeah.
You ready to be really depressed?
Depressed? I thought you had some news for us that's going to blow my mind.
That news is going to blow your mind. This news might also, and I might stall until Richie gets his headphones on.
Yeah. Okay.
But-
He's coming in. He's got a hot cup of double bag Colombian roast.
Oh boy.
Okay. And
Rich-
he filled it to the top.
Yeah, dude, that's why it took me so long.
You're about
If I-
to be so sad, Rich Orberger,
Wait,
when
what?
you find out what just happened in NIL.
What happened?
And you're going to wish you could turn back the clock to your Penn State days when you
If
had
I could
teams coming
turn
after you like
back
crazy.
time,
Jackson Dart?
Find my way.
Who's going to be a Heisman candidate next year? Early season betting, not favorite, but
Is
he's
this
up there.
Jalen Milroe?
No, Jackson Dart.
Oh, Jackson Dart. Yeah.
He just signed a deal with a private jet company for NIL that provides him hours upon hours of their fleet of jets for travel, training, and philanthropy.
Okay, I'm going to tell you guys a quick story that I missed out on.
This dude can just get in a private jet whenever he wants.
So before NIL, and I'm not going to say the school, I'm not going to say the coach, but before NIL, this actually happened to me.
This is illegal.
This is illegal.
Name names.
What? Nope, I will not name names.
Bad guy.
Not even a bad guy, really good guy. And I wish I took him up on it. I'm in high school. I'm a high
You
school
wish
senior.
you were a criminal?
Well, in this case, you would too. Hang on. So when I was a high school senior, I was being recruited by a certain school. And I was already signed, committed, sealed, delivered to Penn State. I mean, it was like days away from signing day, letter of intent and all that. I was told by a coach, there is a municipal airport near your school. We are going to fly a plane. On that plane, there are only going to be 4 things: a pilot, a cooler full of beer, and 2 co-eds to chaperone you back to our campus.
And you
it
said
is
no?
the coach's private plane.
And you said no?
And he said, nothing that happens on that plane will ever be discussed. You're going to have the best plane ride of your life, though. I can guarantee that. And then we are going to show you the best weekend of your life.
And you said no?
And I was spoken for. I was a Penn State Nittany Lion through and through. I was already committed. And I remember saying to that coach words that I will regret for the rest of my life. Coach, I wouldn't cheat on my girlfriend, and I'm not cheating on Penn State. And that's how the nerdiest thing I've ever said went down. And boy, oh boy, do I regret every. Okay, I'll take a lap. I'll take a lap.
Wow.
I deserve it.
That was a stand-up approach to that particular situation.
That was a wasted opportunity.
Dumb approach.
God, no one gets that. If he had that,
Can we get NIL money?
that'd be nice, wouldn't it? So the story that's going to blow everyone's mind and the breaking news that we talked about, Elon Musk has successfully implanted Neuralink into their first test patient. That test patient is fine. He's walking around,
Right?
and he can control a computer with his mind. He's able to move the cursor around the screen using nothing but his head.
Okay, hold on. Okay. So 1, welcome to the future.
Yeah, we're here.
2, please tell me the Neuralink does more than move the mouse.
I think the plan is it's going to, but right, like for the first test, that was like check 1.
So Neuralink. Okay, so they've done it.
They put it in a person, and that person can control a computer mouse with his mind.
Yeah.
I was just talking to TD about this. we are careening toward a future where, like, we don't know what's next. So just rewind the clock to horse and buggy times. And
Wasn't that long ago?
No, it was 150 years ago. It was the way you conveyed people. It was the most efficient way to get people from point A to point B was horse and buggy.
I mean, just over 100 years ago, that was still the most efficient way.
I mean,
People
talking
are alive today who traveled by horse and buggy.
Yeah, man. I mean, yeah, maybe.
There was some overlap where there were people still in horse and buggy when the automobile started, where they were like, that'll never stick.
Right.
And then Henry Ford created the conveyor belt and everything changed. The modern way car making happens.
My freshman year of high school, I had a teacher who was talking about the internet, and he said, I don't know, it's probably like CB radio.
Is that what he said? Dude,
it's going to go out.
So this is my point. Like, back then, if you ask somebody, like I'm talking about before cars were even a thought in anybody's head, like, how are people going to get around in the future? They would have just described to you probably a more modernized way to use horses. right? Like that, because they didn't experience the Industrial Revolution. They never saw a steam engine, let alone an internal combustion engine, let alone an electric engine. There was none of that available. So like right now where we stand, this is happening to us. In 100 years, life is going to, I mean, what is it going to look like?
Barren wasteland of nuclear destruction.
I'm just
TD's going to be sitting there just spewing out bad puns and Star Trek references.
Oh, this is crazy.
But it'll be my head in a jar.
But that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like I bet you in our lifetime, in mine and Trav, so Trav's 44, I'm 38. In our lifetime, you're 27. I mean, we're all kind of lumped into 10 years apart. In our lifetimes, we are going to see the first like a brain downloaded into software and put into like some sort of cybernetic or robotic being.
It's bad, right?
I don't think it's
all
good.
This is bad.
Well, I don't know.
Like we need to go backwards.
That's a sliding scale. Like, you say things are bad or good. It's like you're painting with a real broad brush. There's probably some gray area where it's great, and there's probably some parts that are really bad.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, AI is in its infancy stage.
Yeah.
And the thing that scares me about that is typically when something's in its infancy stage, all you do is see all the good. You don't realize all the bad.
Yeah.
Like killer robots.
AI has a lot of bad. I mean,
we've also been warned so many times about killer robots.
Yeah, we're going to be fighting robots.
Yeah, but hold on. Time out. As kids, we were also warned like to stay away from quicksand. Like I really thought there'd be a lot of trouble with quicksand as I got older. I have never even seen quicksand.
I'll be honest with you. I wore like a good length of rope on my belt for about 10 solid years of my youth, just worried about quicksand.
Right. We got to get out. You watch too much Gilligan's Island, but we still have Chris Stapleton tickets coming up in the final hour. We still have a pair of Aztecs tickets for tonight coming up in the final hour. All that gets going next. What else we talking about, Richie?
We got to recap our Padres update from Peoria. And guess who joins us in the 8 o'clock hour? The voice of the Aztecs, Uncle Teddy Leitner. Let's do it. All right, that's all on the other side. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760.
It's hour 3 on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. Fashion statements coming soon. Look at you. Wow. We'll start off here with the Padres in spring training. Joey Musgrove started again yesterday, getting some work in. Yu Darvish is going to be on the mound today. NFL, some running backs now free agents after Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, and Tony Pollard did not get franchise tagged. They can now all test the open market. College hoops, Aztecs 20th in the AP poll, 16 in KenPom, 18 in the net. They get San Jose State tonight at Viejas Arena. Tip-off scheduled for 8 o'clock tonight. There it is. We got pregame coverage from Viejas Arena starting at 7 on San Diego Sports 760. At Progressive, they're making things even easier. They'll help bundle your home and car insurance together so you can save on both. Learn more at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE. That's Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
Happy Tuesday to those who celebrate. We certainly are in a very interesting way. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760. I have to take a laugh for that?
No, that was a scream. That was not laugh.
Oh, okay.
That was, I'm uncomfortable.
You know,
Someone get HR in here.
look, COD. It is the wave of the future.
Right. Call of Duty, baby.
All of a sudden, I'm in on Neuralink.
I'm telling you, if Neuralink comes online,
well, easy.
and,
Nice pause.
and you have the availability to press a button and fire off certain things.
Like,
you're
okay.
telling
Like
you're
just-
telling
No,
me,
buttons.
yeah, buttons.
Buttons.
Are you telling me you wouldn't?
I'm telling you, I wouldn't. Absolutely not.
You're lying.
They're
I'm not
a
lying.
liar.
No.
I look
You're
at
a
you
liar.
smiling. I can see through that smile. You are
I
Chester
would-
Cheetos right now. You're like, yee.
I would do the
Scooby-Doo.
Neuralink thing, I think,
Yeah.
if I was paid like $600.
$600. It comes up a lot. It's like
Wait.
it's like NCAA football. You get $600 if you're part of the game if you're a college athlete. Fletch goes Neuralink. Yeah, sign me up. $600
Everything takes $600.
Daddy Elon, you hear that?
and a free copy of College Football 25.
That's all I want. That's all I want.
And a Tesla, maybe? He's giving those things
You're
away.
getting a Neuralink.
Yeah, but I'll take the Tesla too.
Dude, you're gonna be able to drive Tesla with your brain.
So that's the whole. I watched the rest of the video, not just the 10-second clip where they were like, this dude can now control computers with his mind. But the
Mhm.
goal is for it to be connected amongst all your smart devices, Tesla included.
Jesus. All right. Well,
I thought Tesla drove itself.
Basically does.
dude, I mean, pretty soon here. Like again, going back to what I was saying, like how if you lived in the time of horse and buggy, you could imagine what the future would look like. Like also, remember how we remember biblical prophets. Like think about that. I should say, not remember. Think about how we because they were the first people who like wrote down stuff in a really comprehensive way, and it's like considered a religious tome now. Like Elon Musk in about 2,000 years, is he going to be the Jesus of our time?
They might already be.
I
Now,
mean,
TD, what's going on here?
It's so bizarre. This
What's
is
that?
all very strange.
Oh, this power move that I'm pulling
Yeah,
off?
what do you do? Are you trying to intimidate? What's the plan here?
Yeah, well, so there's some people around the office who have high stature and authority, and they have popped collars.
Oh, look at
So
you.
I thought,
So are you pop collar guy now?
so I mean, I'm just trying it out, giving a little test run, seeing what happens here.
So am I?
So the flannel's got a collar pop.
In my experience, I know one human who always wears his collar popped. He's one
Okay.
of my favorite people on this planet.
Okay.
Oh, actually, we both know this guy. I know
No,
exactly what you're talking about.
That's a different one. Mike Costa, and he does it like half the time. I'm saying does not leave the house without his collar popped.
Got it.
Okay.
And it does-
24/7.
Hang on a
Alright.
second, though. Let me ask a question. Really important question. Like, we're talking about pajamas with button up. We're talking about polo shirts.
Right.
I'm
We're talking
telling you-
about quarter zips. We're
Mhm.
talking about everything with a collar gets popped.
Maybe outside of like a suit.
Okay.
Okay.
But from when I've known this guy, his pajamas are polo t-shirt, like polos. Like,
And the collar's
what-
popped.
yeah.
Wow.
And there's a Ferrari logo on pretty much every single one.
Hold
of them.
on.
But he rocks it and pulls it off. I look at TD, I don't get the same feeling.
Well, hang on.
well.
a second. Hang on. a second. Hang on. Hang on.
Hmm.
When I was the first thing I was going to say at first blush, like this is a yes.
Like,
Okay.
you're like
all
that
right.
lizard in holes that like has the neck thing.
Yeah, I
Wait.
can see there's a little lizard vibe.
Wait, Holes or Jurassic Park?
No, the movie Holes.
Oh, Jurassic Park with the one that
Yeah,
spits.
yeah,
where he's like,
Yeah, that guy.
and then boom, and
Yeah.
it hits Newman from Seinfeld with,
that guy.
the
With the
black tar.
Barbasol can.
Yeah. All right.
Same thing.
No, I'm going to say this. You look like a guy who just got, okay, this is what you look like. You look like a character on Yellowstone who just got rolled in a bar fight.
I'm in.
And then you got to the bar and everybody's just like, hey, so tough one out there. And you're just like, whiskey.
I'm sold.
You look
I'm
cooler.
sold.
Yeah.
You might need an ascot.
Wait.
Okay, you have to dump.
Yeah,
Hit the dump.
wait.
button.
Ascot. It's a men's fashion piece.
Wait. I thought you're talking about like a bolo tie?
No, an ascot.
No.
It's like a
It's,
little scarf
it's like
almost, but it's tiny and it just goes around your neck.
Yeah, that.
It's like what Austin Power wears.
Oh, yeah. That's not what a real
We'd have to
cowboy
get a
wears.
massive one.
Do
What?
I not know how to spell
4
Ascot?
foot.
It's just ASCOTT, I think.
There it is, Ascot tie. Yeah, or Leo
like
DiCaprio in Django Unchained.
Yes.
He wore an ascot too.
Or Ken from
Barbie.
but from Toy Story 3.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's not cowboy. Okay.
It was in his cowboy ensemble.
But that's like fashion cowboy.
Yeah.
619, where are we at on that GoFundMe to get Fletch to eat some weird stuff?
Oh,
yeah, we gotta
good
get
call.
that
We
going.
haven't started on that.
We
at
have
all.
a couple things to do. We need to launch a website. We need to launch a merch line. We
Mhm.
need to launch a GoFundMe for Fletch. We have so many things to do.
long list.
Also, the Padres have a long list to start to get to before the start of the season.
Mhm.
Guys, I mean, it's February 27th. The Padres play, was it March 20th or is it the 22nd?
20th and 21st back to back.
Okay. So
Quote unquote home and home against the Dodgers.
It's 27.
So we have a short month,
Yeah.
2 days left in February,
So
and
it's
22 days away.
3 weeks in a day.
3 weeks in a day until the start of the season. We have a lot of questions about this lineup, a lot of questions about this roster overall. Like, for example, good questions like, hey, who's pitching this year? Or, hang on.
It's a good question.
I mean, it's a good
It's a
question.
good question.
How about this one? How about this? It's a weird one. Who's playing the 3 outfield positions?
Fernando's one of them.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Now,
I mean,
check.
Jerks and Profar's on the team.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Jackson Merrill's having a good spring. At least
Farrell
that's what
Merrill.
the Padres want you to
Guys,
think.
that dude's wild.
Jackson Farrell Merrill.
He's
He's a wild one.
Scratch your eyes out.
Hey, I heard you were a wild one.
Now, a lot of the positions have been like similar people playing them in spring
It's
training.
almost better that we have to go royalty free because we get to sing a
Yeah.
lot.
It's a lot better.
Center field has been a rotating tap. I think that is ultimately wide open for
Yeah.
competition. Who's going to play center?
I like the beer reference too. Maybe they just get drunk instead of playing baseball this year.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm in.
That's good.
They're actually installing a beer tap in
What?
center field.
Playing the 999 every day.
I thought they were moving Nando to center field.
I don't think so. I think
Okay.
he's going to be right field.
They also need relief pitching. All right, let's give a quick update as to what happened yesterday. I mean, just raise your hand if anything concerns you about what I'm about to say. Okay. immediately hand raised. All right. Hang on. 7-4 loss to the Guardians yesterday. Any hands?
Don't care.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, no
that's
hands.
fine,
All right, that's
fine.
Joe Musgrove did not get out of the first inning again for the second time in 2 Cactus League starts. Okay, we have a tentative hand raise from
Yeah.
TD.
Yeah.
There's a medium hand raise for me because it's true he did not get out of the first inning. However, he did come back in and throw a 1-2-3 second inning. So
Okay.
if the spring training's weird, they can just pull pitchers and
They
put them
can
back
do
in.
whatever
They
they
can do
want.
whatever they want.
And again, it's spring training. I'm not supposed to care. It's not supposed to matter. It's just I kind of care.
I got
kinda
my
care.
hand half.
I just want. I
You
kind
have
of
a
want to
half
see.
hand.
I kind of want to see something.
You have a half a handy. You
I'm gonna go full handy.
full handy. Me? No handy.
Coffee on my nose.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
that
listen,
hurt really
we're talking
bad.
about raising hands,
Well,
by the way.
whatever
Come on.
reason-
No,
yeah,
yeah, I'm
But
gonna
what
go.
you're thinking?
There's
Neuralink.
yeah, come on, dude.
Yeah.
COD. I'm gonna keep the hand down, okay? Because I don't care. Joe Musgrove, if he's healthy, I know he's gonna be a good pitcher. All right, Michael King acquired in the Juan Soto trade. He's headed to a starting job. Allowed 1 hit in 2 innings. Any concern there whatsoever? Oh, we got big, strong
Wow.
hand raise.
Why are you concerned with
That's
that?
a full handy. What's going on, Fletch?
I'm just concerned that the fact that Michael King is the number 3 starter. Maybe he proves me wrong, but it's not like he has a ton of experience being a starting pitcher. And with what the Padres gave away to get Michael King, and I know you weren't trying to get Michael King in that deal. You accepted Michael King in that deal. But Juan Soto,
Thank God we got rid of Soto for King.
exactly. But Juan Soto is gone. Michael King is here. Like, you gotta add some expectation to his season. So Michael King being a little bit of an unknown quantity, I'm expecting him to have a great season.
Okay, no handy for me, no raised hand, because here's the deal. Michael King, he's going to have to be a starter. And if he's going to go out and pitch like that, it instills confidence.
Right.
I'm not in love with the fact that we're using a guy who's completely untested, but especially with AJ Preller, if you could give him credit where credit's due,
he can find pitchers.
From a pitching standpoint, this guy has unearthed some gems.
Closing position, he has been maybe the best GM in history at finding closers.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
What about you? Hand raise? No hand raise?
No hand raise. I like it. But in the same thought process that you have of it instills confidence, that's where my hand gets raised with Musgrove.
Yeah, okay. All right. Moving on to Ethan Salas. Now, give this a listen. Here's a guy who's 17 years old, wet behind the ears,
right?
A whippersnapper.
Yeah, he is.
But he's out there getting major league hits. Give this a listen.
Salas will turn 20 on June 1st of 2026. And he jolts this one to left center field. In for a base hit.
Sound like COD.
Buddy.
Yeah. Hand all the way down, because that's also
the button.
That's the first time we've heard Don Orsillo's voice in spring training.
That is a frozen rope if you catch my drift.
Stop.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Sign me up for a free Neuralink transmitter.
I'm telling you right now, 0 hands raised here. Ethan Salas, the only concern I have is if, by the way, that sounded like a gunshot. That dude hit the smack out of that.
Great acoustics in Peoria.
Really nice. No hand raised here, but again, if they're going to rely on Ethan Salas at 17 years of age to be on this, they should not.
That's where the hand raise.
Yeah.
So he needs to not see Major League Baseball for at least 2 more years.
Campy is going to be the majority of the battery, so I don't think. Okay, Yu Darvish scheduled to make his first Cactus League start. Today, first pitch, 12 p.m. What do you got?
Why you got hand raised?
Hand went up immediately.
I'm just concerned about Yu Darvish this year. He's getting a lot older. He finished last year injured. It's an issue, I think, that the Padres have, because you're going to be relying on him to at least be your number 2 starter, if not your number 1.
Okay. And you're just worried about not Yu Darvish, but if you Darv-ish. Is that what you said earlier?
No, he actually was comparing him to Yu Darv, who was a hell of a pitcher, and now we have Yu Darvish.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I was just pointing out the fact that Yu Darvish is pretty good. So how good was Yu Darv? That was
the dumbest show on radio.
Yeah, success.
So I think it's healthy after San Diego State lost to Utah State and then dominated Fresno State to take a look at where they're at metrically, because the numbers really don't lie. And AP poll, which does lie, they're at 20th, so they did not fall out. They are 16th in KenPom, which is a season high, 18th in the net, which is tied for a season. No, they were at 17 for a while.
We got a hand raise.
Hips don't lie.
Lap. I mean, you knew it.
You said it knowing you were going to get a laugh.
But you said don't lie, so how would I not automatically go hips don't lie?
Because you're a normal human being, but you're not. I mean, get out of here, Star Trek.
You know what? I feel like this is almost like Stockholm Syndrome. He likes it now.
I know. He does. He likes the attention. Tip-off tonight's at 8 o'clock. We're going to get started at 7 with pregame from outside Viejas Arena. John Schaefer and me. Uncle Teddy's going to come on at 8:30 to talk about the game. Also do a little Padres talk with Teddy. But again, pregame coverage at 7, tip-off at 8. We got a pair of tickets still to come in that one. In the NFL, some running backs, now free agents after Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, Tony Pollard did not get franchise tagged. They are now able to test the open market. We don't know what that open market's going to look like, but Richie, you said it earlier in the show, it's going to be less than 12.1.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you think Tony Pollard, Saquon Barkley, both, they'd have to sign a franchise tag for 12.1. I think, is it Jacobs who would have to sign a 14.1 million?
I don't remember what. Isn't it the average across the position, or it's like the highest paid?
But if it's the second time you're tagged, because Saquon Barkley signed an incentive late. He didn't get tagged last year. He signed an incentive laden contract. And then I don't think he hit nearly any of them.
And Pollard had the year left on his deal last year.
So he's officially a free agent if they don't renegotiate a deal with him. So he's going to get the first franchise tag. Same with Saquon. Jacobs played on a tag, so he's due the second tag amount, which is $14 million. So here's the deal. Nobody's getting $14 million in this running back market. Nobody's getting $12 million a year.
Is this going to be another offseason of Austin Eckler hosting Zoom calls with running backs screaming and bitching and moaning about getting more money?
Well, that's an embarrassment left over from last offseason, if you ask me, because all of those guys on the call got injured at some point. Who, look, the level, I don't want this to come off sounding so strong, but there's a level of self-importance sometimes that is contagious, right? You know, you get to a point in your career where you're like, man, I'm just not getting the respect I deserve. And I'm not saying any of these guys have stopped working hard. I am not. This isn't a commentary on Saquon Barkley or Christian McCaffrey or Austin Eckler or any of the guys who are on that, Tony Pollard, any of the guys who are on that call complaining about their value and how it's perceived in the NFL. These guys are hard workers. They're great at their position. The problem with their position that they play is it is a position that's more easily replaceable than, say, the top wide receivers in the game or the top edge rushers in the game or the top quarterbacks in the game or the top left tackles in the game or the top cornerbacks in the game.
Well, here's the deal. So let's say it's a 1,000-yard rusher for $10 million, or you could have a 800-yard rusher for $1 million. I mean, I could have two 800-yard rushers for a couple $1 million. That's where the hang-up lies here. So yeah, I understand you are one of the best. You are one of the not only the best to do it in the NFL, but the best at your position. It's just not worth $12 million.
We are going to rip through four corners right now where we bring you the best stories from around the whole world. We've scanned the map, and this is what we've come up with. And we'll start with this one. Phillip Rivers, he's got 10 kids, but he's onboarding the responsibility of mentoring Drake May. So the quarterback,
one more.
Yeah.
Just one more.
Who's the draft prospect. He obviously has shined a light on him specifically and wants to help him improve his draft stock. I love this story. I think Phillip Rivers, as great of a player as he was, he's an even better coach, because I'm telling you, I learned a lot from him, from Nick Hardwick. We talked to Nick about this on the show. It was really honestly like playing with a coach on the field.
You guys want to know what Gisele Bündchen's up to?
What's going on?
So her new lover, her new boyfriend.
What was his name again?
I don't remember.
Oh, it's Joaquim Valente.
That's right. Golly.
Her new boyfriend is spending most nights at her Miami home, and is her quote-unquote rock.
Ooh, things are heating up fast.
Tell you what, rocks are super hard.
Yeah.
I want a sugar mama. I do have a sugar mama.
That is true.
Everybody knows that.
That is true.
I'm not saying anything. I mean, certain rocks are not.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah.
Maybe sedimentary, but
You're
I
right.
like an
like
igneous.
shale.
I like an igneous rock.
You got to get that rock over the man zone.
I like something metamorphic.
Petrified wood. Oh, yeah.
Okay, what's next?
Wendy's. Okay.
Yeah.
This one actually kind of bothers me.
Wait, Williams or the fast food chain?
Not Wendy Williams. I wish it was Wendy.
The
Williams.
red hair one.
The red hair one.
Yeah.
The red hair one.
With the
yes.
burgers, with the square
with the
burgers.
burgers. That's correct. They're planning on changing things up. They're planning on, you know how Uber does surge pricing? It gets busy. All of a sudden it's more expensive.
Yeah.
Wendy's wants to do the same thing, where when they get busy, all of a sudden the burgers and fries get a little pricier.
What?
That's
Have
what
fun
I'm
never having me in a drive-through ever again.
Okay, so that was my take as well. You're going to implement surge pricing when things get busy. Guess what? It ain't ever going to get busy.
Dude, that is a mistake.
Yeah.
I mean,
dumb.
also, by the way, and this is no commentary on Wendy's, but Wendy's is the drive-through I go to when the other drive-throughs are busy.
That is actually an exact commentary on Wendy's.
So up in Temecula, where I used to live, there was a Wendy's, an In-N-Out, and an Arby's all right next to one another.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you could have a meat mountain, a double-double, a 4x4, or a Baconator.
Well, this is how it worked: is you rolled into In-N-Out, but if it was too busy, you looked over at Wendy's. If that overflow got too busy, you went to Arby's.
Yeah.
I like Arby's.
I do too.
I do too.
You know what I like? The horsey sauce.
Oh God, the Arby's sauce.
Well, the Arby's sauce is great, but I like a little spice. The horseradish.
Arby's is underrated.
I'm thinking Arby's all the time. You know who's not thinking Arby's ever?
Sarah.
Ever.
It's definitely targeted to men.
1,000%. I one time came home with the meat mountain and ate it in my driveway. Annie didn't speak to me for the rest of the night. She was like, "You stink. The car stinks. The house stinks because you threw away the bag indoors, you idiot." And it was just like, "So what you feeling frisky? Is that what you're trying to say?" And she was like, "You're sleeping on the couch, moron." That's how that
But I'm a meat
conversation went.
mountain.
That's
But look,
the
look
man
at me.
zone.
I'm a meat masterpiece. Meat mountain.
COD.
COD.
Speaking of COD,
Press the button.
Wow, what?
did you know
Yes.
that on Prize Picks,
Yes.
you can set a lineup of people playing Call of Duty.
COD.
COD.
Oh, sorry. I thought we were talking about a different COD.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So I want you to
It's
tell
also
us all-
like cash on delivery.
Yeah, there's so many different things that C could stand for. I do want to hear about Prize Picks,
Okay.
but I want to alert everybody. Uncle Teddy in just like 7 minutes.
And a pair of Aztecs tickets as soon as I'm done reading this about Prize Picks.
Ted Leitner coming up in 7 minutes. Aztecs tickets coming up in 3 minutes because that's how much love we give to our corporate sponsors. Go, Fletch, go.
It'll be about 60 seconds, and here we go. Juan Soto, Ronald Acuna Jr., Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Pete Alonso, and Freddie Freeman are all part of my season-long Prize Picks entry.
COD. Press the button.
Because right now on the Prize Picks app, you can go look at Major League Baseball season-long entries and make your picks for the entire season. 2 to 4 players, 2 to 6 players. That's all you need to maybe get up to 100 times your money on the Prize Picks app. Get on over there today. It's number 1 in America with over 3 million members. The easiest, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. And unlike other apps on Prize Picks, it's just you against the numbers. There's no sharks, no competitive leagues. All you're doing is picking more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and you can watch the winnings roll in. And like I mentioned, you can now win up to 100 times your money with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000. That's happening if you're playing the demons, which I like to do on a regular basis. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, enormous selection of player sports and stat types. That is what makes Prize Picks the number 1 daily fantasy sports app. And get on over there to see the newest selection of darts. That's right, darts players. It is way too much fun, man. If you want to be intrigued, if you want to get into sports heaven, download the Prize Picks app today. Use code Fletch. Get a first deposit match up to $100, and check out those community plays because those are a lot of fun as well. Coming up next on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, Uncle Teddy Leitner joining the show at San Diego Sports 760.
Oh, you thought we forgot? You thought we forgot? Yeah, we did. Caller number 5 right now, 877-767-4760. You're going to win a pair of tickets to go see the Aztecs take on San Jose State tonight, Viejas Arena. You want to buy tickets, go Aztecs.com. You want to win them, call number 5 right now.
This update is presented by KFC. Starting off with Padres spring training, Joe Musgrove hit the mound yesterday. Yu Darvish there today for his first spring training debut in the NFL. Some running backs now free agents. Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, Tony Pollard did not get franchise tagged. College hoops, Aztecs 20th in the AP poll, 18 in KenPom, 16 in KenPom, 18 in the net. They got San Jose State tonight at Viejas Arena. Tip-off at 8 with Uncle Ted on the call. We got pregame coverage from Viejas Arena starting at 7 right here on San Diego Sports 760 and the free iHeartRadio app. KFC's new smashed potato bowl is here. Fries, mashed potatoes, cheese, and bacon come together to make a smashable snack that's only $3.49. It's finger-licking good.
Yeah, this is the one I requested. A little groove, a little pop, a little funk. Royalty free here. San Diego Sports 760. Big Rich, Chidi, and Fletch. We just gave away some Aztecs tickets. We will have another pair of tickets to go see Chris Stapleton. We have those still available. Chris Stapleton at Petco Park this Saturday. Tickets and info at livenation.com, or just keep listening for your chance to win those. But Aztecs taking on San Jose State tonight at Viejas Arena. San Jose, the Spartans, which I'm crossing my fingers that the Spartan cheerleaders will be there from SNL. Now, I mean, not only the SNL Spartan cheerleaders is what we're looking for. If you're looking for tickets and information, go Aztecs.com. But the man, the myth, the voice of the Aztecs, and a friend of the show here, Uncle Teddy Leitner, joining us right now. Uncle Ted, how you feeling, man?
Travis, I'm doing well. I'm normally not up at this time, but for you guys, I'll make an exception.
We appreciate that in a big way. What's the morning ritual look like for Uncle Teddy? What time do you usually roll out of bed?
It looks like the inside of my eyeballs.
What?
That's what it looks like, because it takes me a long time to go to sleep.
Well, and Ted's got the 8 o'clock tip-off tonight. It's a little bit later. How rude of us to wake you up so early, Ted. But
I know.
After our little trip up to Fresno, coming back home, I mean, in Fresno, have you seen the Aztecs play better ball all year?
Probably not in both halves, no. Maybe for one half. The second half against Colorado State was just symphonic music playing, and I could hear the strings in the background. It was just perfect. But this, in terms of both halves, and I understand, they were missing both their bigs at 6'10", 6'11", Fresno State, and Donovan Yap, their guy they got from Las Vegas, a good player. He had to go to a funeral, and they were missing a bunch of people. But nobody cares. As we mentioned on the air, nobody cares if you have problems, and half the people don't want to hear about them. The other half are glad you got them. And if the Aztecs had problems, nobody would give them any quarter whatsoever. So you go out there and you play, and man, they played some fantastic basketball, to answer your question. Without, and this is, it's a team that at home they won by 3 points against this team that's coming in tonight. So it's been a fascinating season, a fascinating time for the Mountain West. I've never seen it like this, but this is San Jose State. So you think, oh, please, San Jose State. But that literally was a block by Jay Powell at the end of the game and a 3-point Aztec win. So there ain't no gimmies. And that was up at San Jose. Now they're coming in here tonight, as you said, past my bedtime, 8 o'clock.
Yeah, past all of our bedtimes. I mean, we have some early hours here on Big Rich, Chidi, and Fletch. Ted Leitner joining us this morning. Ted, brother, man, college sports are different all of a sudden. You got name, image, and likeness, the transfer portal. It feels like this has obviously opened a lot of negative doors in some ways, but a positive door that I'm curious to hear your comments on is parity. All of a sudden, it feels like it's wide open for teams like mid-majors, like the Aztecs, to really soar. We saw it last year with the national championship bid. Do you think that that's what's happening with some of these transfers? Although it comes with, consequences, you're also seeing all these teams get good enough that they can compete with anybody.
That is I think a silver lining if you look at it, Richie. But the truth of the matter is, what's going on is insane. I mean, we have professional basketball. It's a very large league, and with big stars who make a lot of money, the National Basketball Association, and now it's become a farm team. It was always been a farm team for the NBA anyway, but now it's free agency. Just it's almost more freedom than the pros have. It's just insane. And we have the NCAA to thank for that, because when they were in charge, and they, I guess technically still are, they put it all to one side with their rule book the size of a Manhattan, New York phone book with all their petty stuff, and they wouldn't give any players any money, any really significant stipends. And that they always tell that story because Steve Fisher has heard this story when he had the Fab Five with Brian Dutcher and Jalen Rose and Weber and all those guys are out at night. They're walking past a sporting goods store. It's closed, but the windows are lit up, and they see their Fab Five Michigan jerseys for $125, whatever, and they don't have any money to put together with 5 or 6 of them to buy a pizza. And they're thinking, look at this, they get all this money off us. So now it's gone totally the other side, to where it's how much do you want? And in recruiting, it's being used, though it's not supposed to be. How much do you want? And making deals before they even sign letters of intent. I mean, it's insane. And you can transfer 2, 3, 4 times, and now you don't have to sit out a year. So it's total free agency. And it's how much? How much? This is not college sports. This is not student athletes. And the university presidents are supposed to be aware of that. But they, I guess, have let this happen. I do not blame them. I blame the NCAA. But hey, something's got to be done. Something has to be done. This is too much.
Ted, last season for the Aztecs was magical. It was something special. You were there for all of it. You got to travel with the team. You got to see it all the way to the end and experience that. And my question is when you were doing that last year, when you were hanging out with them before the tournament, or maybe even as the tournament was happening, could you feel that there was something special with that team? And do you feel it this season? Is there the same magic there?
Great question. Great question. I don't really think I know because I didn't know. And I'll be honest with you, early in the year, I thought, wow, 5, 6-year seniors, 23-year-olds, 24-year-olds, like Charles Barkley said, these guys are grown men playing against boys when they beat up on Alabama in the second half, the number 1 team in the nation. You know, that started 7 foot, 6'11", and a 6'9" point guard, the freshman of the year, and the Aztecs just beat on them. I mean, at the end, as they got their momentum, because they lost at the end of last year to Nevada, they lost at Boise State, and then they never lost again until the national championship game. I didn't see that coming. I don't know if anybody could. I didn't think starting the year, even with all that experience, that it was a Final Four team. I thought Kawhi had a Final Four team. I thought Malachi in the COVID year of 2020 had a Final Four team when they wiped out the NCAA tournament. But that group last year was so special and typical Aztec team. That's why, you know, they have to really stand out because all Aztec teams play together. It's a brotherhood. You lose your man, somebody back there is going to help you out. And it's always been that way. You never take a play off. I get that all the time from other play-by-play guys, from other coaches, as in, damn, your guys defend. And boy, they work hard. And we have to do that, as all the new coaches in the Mountain West have stated publicly. We know what we have to do. We have to emulate San Diego State. We have to learn how to defend like them, or we're never going to topple them as the year-to-year potential champion, regular season and tournament. And that's what they're doing now. And it's become that parity, especially in the Mountain West. I've never, ever seen it like this. It's truly remarkable.
And when the Mountain West is this good, Ted, you get these hilarious quotes from like Richard Pitino, who said, yeah, I blame Dutch for all of it. I tell him that every time I see him.
That's exactly right.
You blame him in the best way, right? Because the Mountain West is better. Have you ever seen the Mountain West close to this good, Teddy?
Never. And I was there for the very first game for San Diego State and with Fisher Dutcher in 1999. It was a loss, but there haven't been too many since then. And I've been so fortunate late in my career with some really good Padres seasons at the end, and including, you know, the playoffs and beating the Dodgers, and before that, the great comeback in 2020 against the Cardinals. I got to see all of that, and you know, a decade and a half of unbelievable basketball, and not just the basketball itself. But like we said, the culture. It's an overused word, but the Aztecs have this culture. Just like when Jaden Ledee was trying to determine where he wanted to go, and a friend of his said, "Hey, man, I know how you work out. I know how dedicated you are. A friend of mine played at San Diego State. You should call them. You should go there. You fit right in, man. Just a fanatic. When you go to the gym, go to the jam center at 2:00 in the morning to shoot by yourself, there's 7, 8 players there at 2:00 in the morning. That culture. So to be a part of that on the periphery, just as a broadcaster, has been, for someone who loves that type of old-fashioned basketball, has been just an incredible Christmas morning every day, and last year was the piece de resistance.
Ted, I love hearing your voice, obviously, as it's attached to college basketball here in San Diego for all these years, but also football. And Sean Lewis, you spoke about culture and this creation of Steve Fisher. It's been handed off to Brian Dutcher seamlessly. But now we're seeing a new dawn with the Aztecs football team. Your thoughts early on with Sean Lewis and what you've seen out of the new coach on the Mesa?
I was there at his news conference when they introduced Sean, and I thought, big coach. really large guy. As he explained to me, 6'7", at about 240 at the time when he was a player, and he went to Wisconsin to play quarterback. And they took a look at him and say, "Over here, you're a tight end." But I came here to play quarterback. No, you play tight end. And he's from that moment on, the first conversation I had with him, he's a force of nature. He's a tornado. He's a dynamo, and he has that kind of spirit and offensive knowledge, and I'm sure defensive also. That this is extremely exciting to watch his teams play. Anybody who ever showed up and said, "Yeah, they win, but it's boring." I never thought watching Rashad Penny go for 2,000 yards or DJ Humphrey break an 80-yard run, I never thought that was boring. I really did not. And yes, at the end, they didn't have those offensive lines and those types of running backs. But Sean's ideas and Sean and what he has done at Kent State, I mean, if you can win at Kent State and then you're the offensive coordinator for Sanders at Colorado, very, very exciting times on the horizon. And like I said, I've had that. I had that before that with bowl games, 10, 13, 14 years in a row, and double-digit win seasons. So the end of my career, toward the end of it in terms of my life, I'm not 42 anymore, to have that run of Aztec football and basketball, just wow.
Yeah.
Just thank you.
It's like a pinch me moment. It really is. It's been in this incredible span, and we're so grateful to San Diego State for making this so, because, I mean, it's all about hiring. Who you hire, the culture created. It's been a tremendous run. Teddy, we love hearing you. We'll do it again real soon. Thank you so much for jumping on this morning.
Anytime, boys. Good talking to you.
Love you, pal. There he goes. Ted Leitner, the voice of the Aztecs, as the Aztecs are 20th ranked. And it looks like they're going to be a force to be reckoned with in the tournament. Also, a force coming to San Diego this weekend, Chris Stapleton. Guy's got the voice of an angel.
Yeah, he does.
You boys making your way out?
Oh, man.
I don't know. Are we?
Are we, Fletch?
I think I am.
Promotions director, Fletcher.
That's not my title.
Wait. Promotions assistant director, Benjamin Fletcher.
Assistant to the director.
I'm like assistant to the director's assistant.
Right. And her name is Taylor?
Yes.
Okay.
Swift?
No.
Yes.
She wears a lot of hats around
Taylor
iHeart.
Swift is our promotions director?
I had no idea. Actually, could we take pictures with her? Is that like we did with Kung Fu Panda?
Yeah, that's right.
We met Poe last week. We didn't even post about that. We got to post about that.
Yeah, no kidding.
We met Master Poe.
A Poe post?
Well, a Poe post. We're going to do that coming up next. We're also going to give away those Chris Stapleton tickets. And on bottom of the barrel, are 6-pack abs bad for your heart?
Yep.
You'll find out. All right. Everybody relax.
Be cool. Everyone's pointing.
Nobody needs a 6-pack except for me, because of all this crazy weight loss that I've done.
You don't need to do that to get the weight loss.
Well,
you don't need to exercise, pal.
That's a really good point you bring up, and that's exactly what Wayne and Chloe told us. And we went, Psh, "What do you know?" Well, turns out they know a lot more than us about weight loss,
right?
Because they work with scfatloss.com, and we were fat. And so it's a really good name.
Yeah, it really is.
Really
like when they were looking for qualifications, and they were like, "Well, we need somebody fat."
Yeah,
you'll do.
Yeah, check. Yeah, and that was a major box check for them. And then Wayne and Chloe, they I talked to them for the first time. I remember Annie was on the call, and she was like, "So look, you're not going to have to exercise. You're not going to have to buy any gross tasting food. You're not going to have to drink shakes every day. You're going to do this naturally. It's going to be a lifestyle change." And my wife was like, "Well, this is great because you will literally do none of those things they just mentioned anyway. So, yeah, let's do this one. This is the one I like." Mm-hmm. And so I did, and it worked. I was down over 30 pounds in the first month. That is a pound a day for anybody who's trying to count at home. Fletch lost over 35 pounds through the first month. TD, he lost over 25 pounds. It was like 28 and a half.
28 in a month.
In a month.
And actually, it was 28 in probably just over 3 weeks. Because that first week, I was like, I don't think it's working.
In the month of February, technically, that would be a pound a day because it's only 28 days usually.
That's a very astute of you.
It's also
very
a leap year. Look, the point is sdfatloss.com. If you want to talk to Wayne and Chloe about weight loss,
you don't have to leap.
Yeah, you don't even. Yeah, no leaps required. No exercise. We talked about this. Look, I don't know where to go from here.
Well, if you want to take the leap,
actually, I know exactly where to go. Go to sdfatloss.com.
Right.
Leap over to, you know what? Look, they're experts. We lost a ton of weight at sdfatloss.com. We have Chris Stapleton tickets in just 3 minutes. All you got to do is listen to the show for 3 more minutes, and we'll tell you how to win those. That's coming up in 3 minutes. All right, guys. It's crunch time. It's the nitty gritty. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760. Chris Stapleton tickets in 5 minutes. Okay.
I thought we were counting down. I was like 4, 3. Oh,
And
So you've tried 2 things today: the backwards hat and the pop collar.
the backwards hat doesn't work if I have a snapback.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I actually
like
prefer it with the snap.
I like it when it's a fitted hat, and I'm a little more Fred Dursty.
Yeah, you did it all for the Nookie. We talked about this earlier this week.
Yeah. Second Limp Bizkit reference this week.
Well,
Weird.
Well, we'll say this: it's when you have Farrell Merrill out there running around with that facial hair.
True.
Jackson Farrell Merrill. I mean, that guy isn't a Durst fan. I don't know what one looks like.
Scratch your eyes out.
Yeah. So at 8:56, all you got to do is call 877-767-4760. That's 877 0 in order to win those Chris Stapleton tickets at Petco Park this Saturday. Okay.
Wow.
All right. For bottom of the barrel, we focus on one story and one story alone. 6-pack abs are the worst thing you could do for your heart.
I've always said that.
Yep. That's why we haven't done it.
Stupid J riff.
This comes out of San Diego.
Yes, that's correct.
So check this out. I'm going to read the article verbatim. Okay.
Okay.
Big abs could spell bad news for men's health. I've told my wife this for years. Body composition, which is typically defined as the amount of fat, bone, and muscle in the body, a concept frequently used by health professionals in relation to heart health. However, researchers from the University of California, San Diego, that's UCSD for those playing at home, challenging this. They're suggesting that more muscle doesn't automatically mean lower risk of heart problems.
Nope.
Britta Larson, PhD, explains that men with larger abdominal muscle areas have a greater risk of heart disease. As far as muscle density goes, the prognosis is much different. Men with the densest muscle within the abdominal cavity
blah, blah, blah,
nearly have 1/4 of the risk of heart disease.
Blah,
later.
blah,
Okay,
blah,
yeah,
blah,
that's all nonsense.
Dad bods for the win,
all
baby.
you need is this line. Britta Larson explains that men with larger abdominal muscle area have a greater risk of heart disease, and that's why we stay away from it.
Mic drop. Thank you, Dr. Larson.
Yeah, we are doing it for our kids, for our family, for our wives.
I told Annie the other day, I was like, do you think this is an accident? I was pointing to my stomach. I was saying, all of this is for you.
Yeah. Do you think I want to look this way?
I was like, I wish I could have a chiseled 8-pack, but do you understand the larger male abdominal area is it's linked to heart disease?
I'd also say we're alive in the absolute best time to be bigger fellas, because a while ago, dad bods were not in.
No, they weren't.
Current day, dad bods are like the thing.
Right.
I'll tell you right now, like there are a lot of guys who are going through like divorces where they're getting back into the gym and they're doing things. Like the truth is, all you need to do is just fire down some testosterone, and get yourself back in the game at the man zone.
Bunch of Coors Light.
And then drink a couple of C minuses.
Wow.
And then get out there on the dating scene, because ladies like a deeper belly button.
That's what ladies love, they say.
At least a knuckle and a half.
Yeah. LL deep belly button.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Kanye West's wife does not like bras.
No.
I mean,
Or underwear.
Bianca Sensori. Yeah. There. Wait, show me the recent picture.
Yeah.
Wow, there it is. Yeah.
I mean, she also wears very thin shirts.
That's
like 1997 friends up in here.
full-on nipple.
It's cold wherever they're shopping.
Yeah, that's true. Who's that? Kohl's?
Yeah, that's gotta be Kohl's.
Yeah,
no I'm sure she's got some Kohl's cash she has to use.
Well, who does it? Comes in the mail. Who do we thank, Fletch?
We thank Uncle Teddy Leitner, the GOAT. Also, we had 2 separate first-time winners today.
Wow, how about that?
For different contests.
Nicely
So congratulations, fellas. Thanks for stopping by. Thank you for being here. Thank you to the roadies, the dogs, the hangers, the bangers. Thank you to TD and his Star Trek references and his Darv-ish. Thank you to Rich Ornberger for outing illegal activity that happened in college while he was there.
That's a dumb move.
Yeah, we'll be posting that later.
And I cannot believe you didn't
miss the boat.
complicit.
We all
missed the boat.
We all have regret. We're gonna buy Fletch a thesaurus. Also, we're gonna have Chris Stapleton tickets the rest of the week. Keep it right here. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. The Herd is next on San Diego Sports 760.